here on today. Make sure you come in hitting the like button. Make sure you come in greeting one another. Blessings to everybody on today. I know that you know what I mean. Some of you thought that I was gonna do part two, but I'm a wait till I do part two of indirect game because I don't think that a lot of you even digested. You know what I mean, part one. So I'm gonna give you a chance, man. You know what I mean. Get that in your spirit first. You know. Hold on, let me do this. This is just the tip of the iceberg because as the channel grows, we will speak on topics that I've always had a desire to speak on with you. It was just due to the fact that the channel wasn't big enough. I knew that the audience that I had attracted pretty much would be not interested in speaking on those type of things. So I had to wait, you know. I had to wait for the audience to get bigger so it could be more and more and more people that was interested in speaking on issues regarding things that's happening in our community, things that's pertaining to spirituality. We speak on carnality all the time, but you know, I want to speak on the Moorish Science Temple. I want to speak on certain things pertaining to the Nation of Islam. I would love to speak to you about holiness. The videos that I've done in times past, those are wonderful, but like I said, as the audience for those subjects, you know, grow, I'll be able to be more freer, and not just freer, but I'll speak on it more often, you know? But get them likes up. Get them likes up. Come on here and greet one another. Show each other some love as we come in. And before, you know, we get into our debates and, you know, hopefully we won't, you know, get into too many arguments and things like that. But, you know, we don't know where it's going to go. Before we get into any of that, put some water in your body. Put some water in your body. If you got some fruit in the house, put some fruit in your body right now. If you got some water in your house, drink some water right now. You already know Sin gonna have that Fiji water on deck. You know? Yeah. Always. Shout out to Kisa. Hey. Oh wow, you reading the message to the black? Oh wow. Yeah, brother, I'm getting into more you know, back to spirituality. And what I mean by that is I'm, you know, reading more spiritual books and getting back into the word and things like that as I approach the month of June. Because as I told you guys, I'm gonna disappear for a little bit, and during that time, you know, Sin gonna get back in that discipline mode, and that's when I'm at my sharpest. You know, that's when I'm my deadliest. When I am disciplined. You know, and to get it stirred up and riled up, I go back to spirituality all the time. Thank you, brother, for the two. Appreciate that. Good looking. But I'm going to say this so you already know where I'm coming from. I don't expect you guys to like some of the things that I'm going to say because the things that I'm going to say is actually against a lot of things that you've been taught. You know, some of you didn't read, some of you did no research. You just accepted, you know what I mean, what they gave you. You accepted what a movie gave you. You accepted what the news gave you. You accepted things from people who were not knowledgeable, you know what I mean, of the Nation of Islam or all. You listen to all type of, if I can just be frank, you listen to a lot of bullshit. You did. So I'm already knowing that my views are totally contrary to majority of you right now that's listening, which is why we're going to have a call in. It's not going to just be me speaking. I'm going to allow you to. I'm here to tell you that my thoughts are not your thoughts at all. How many minutes we've been so far? You know what? I give you guys 2 more minutes because I don't want to. I want people to be able to hear me from the very, very beginning. You know, hold on. Let me get this set up. A lot of you have a lot of anger and hatred, a lot of dislike for somebody that you really don't know about. You've been taught to dislike the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I want to tell you that you shouldn't have those feelings. Hold on. And who are you to, on the second thought, who are you to even have those feelings? Hold on. The nerve. YouTube has made it very comfortable speaking on those who have put in a lot of groundwork. No matter how big your channel is on YouTube, you will never be somebody such as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who put in groundwork, that created a movement that gave birth to some of the greatest infinite minds that this planet has ever even seen before. So your favorite YouTuber that told you whatever that they told you and you just received it without doing any research, and you about to call in repeating what you done heard on another platform, I'm ready for you too. But I'm here to tell you that my thoughts are not your thoughts at all. Okay, listen, we can get right into this. As you know, anybody that knows me know that I have a very, very divine respect for Minister Malcolm X. You know? So I don't want you to think the things that I'm about to say is, in any disrespect. It's just that I wanted to hear your thoughts, and we should speak on the matter. I want to speak on this matter, But I respect Brother Malcolm. Don't think that I have any dislike or hatred for Brother Malcolm, for it is Brother Malcolm that if somebody asks me how to define discipline, I would define it with Malcolm X. If somebody you want to be a great ambassador, a great representative, of what you're representing, who is your example of that? Who's one of your greatest, inspirations for wanting to represent your lifestyle, to the highest degree? Brother Malcolm surely comes to my mind. For there was nobody, that represented the Nation of Islam greater than Brother Malcolm, when Brother Malcolm was the spokesman, the minister, the public minister of the Nation of Islam. There was none. There's nobody who represented it better. There was nobody more disciplined. This was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's greatest student at that time. That's not even up for debate. That's why he was in that position. So once again, this is not to disrespect Brother Malcolm. But as of course, Brother Malcolm, come from the street life. Some classify him as a common hoodlum, a hustler, a pimp, scum of the earth. These were the things that Brother Malcolm, was labeled as before he became a member of the Nation of Islam. He was involved in criminality. He was involved in carnality. He was doing everything contrary to what we, people in society and people within religiosity, consider to be what's right. And, as you already know, when Brother Malcolm, was incarcerated, for those that don't know, when he got, because Brother Malcolm, the way the movie paints the picture, that Brother Malcolm was, he found out about the Nation of Islam, in prison and things like that. Actually, that's not true. He already had, siblings who were already involved in Islam. So it wasn't like, he didn't have an idea of what Islam was or the existence of it, but if you watch the movie, it makes it seem as if Brother Malcolm was, completely, ignorant, but no, it wasn't like that. And Brother Malcolm also had a very strong, father. You we know that while Brother Malcolm was incarcerated, we know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote him. You know, we know that, he wrote, brother, you do not listen at all. Lord Jesus. I'll start back at another time. I'm going to keep on going. But I just seen your statement, they wasn't involved. Brother, did I even say that? You got to listen. That's why the word told you to be swift to hear and slow to speak, brother. That's why we got different denominations now, because we got people with different comprehensions and people that only take bits and parts of what they heard and get their own little interpretation and then create something that's full of falsehood. Listen, brother. Now, as we know, Brother Malcolm was getting letters from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave instructions to Brother Malcolm, in him, becoming, a Muslim, told him things, what to study and things like that. Which is why, if you notice, when any of you ask me what to read, what do I tell you to read first? When you say, Sin, what book should I read? What is the first book that I tell you to read? I will wait. The dictionary. Exactly. The dictionary. Because I will not tell you to read a Quran or a King James Version or a book, The 7 Habits of a Successful Man, How to Stop Being a Simp, The 10 Steps of Discipline. I'm not going to tell you to read none of that until you read the dictionary. Why? Because if you can't define the words, if you don't understand the words that you're reading, you're just going to be, you never get the interpretation of what that book is conveying to you, simply because you can't even define the words. You know what I mean? You can't define the words. So why would I tell you to read a Bible or read a Quran or read whatever, and you don't even know the definition of the words that you're reading? That's how you get the wrong, that's how you misinterpret whatever the word or the book that you're reading, because you can't define the words. I got that from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Those appreciate the 10, but the dictionary. So Malcolm was a walking Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. Malcolm was a museum of knowledge and wisdom. Malcolm was a walking epistle. Malcolm was the embodiment of knowledge. Malcolm loved to study, loved to read diligently. Malcolm understood that his mind was just like his body. You should not be going, day after day, and you have not fed your mind. The same way that you feed your body, it's imperative that you feed your mind. And Malcolm understood that. So that's why, when you would listen to Brother Malcolm, he was so dynamic as a minister, because here's someone who came out of the streets that you could relate to because of the things that he was previously involved in before becoming involved with the nation. And so when he gives his testimony of the things that he previously did in the streets before getting involved with the Nation of Islam. The people from the streets, they listen and they locked in because this is somebody that I can relate to. You know, what he did previously, that's my today reality. You know, I'm in carnality now. So when you have somebody who had a past, such as Brother Malcolm, and then to collaborate all of that, you know, with the knowledge of, you know what I mean? Of course, he memorized in the dictionary, the knowledge of the Quran, and you know what I mean? His ideas of politics, and you know what I mean? He was reading everything moving, you know? This nigga said must be a part. Hold on. Why you say that, Prince? Let me stop for a moment. Why you say that, brother? Is there something wrong with your signal? Are you happy? What's going on? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Yeah, I didn't know what he meant. I didn't know what Prince was saying by that. I'm just saying. What do you mean? You just saying? You throwing me? Let me wait on what you saying. You saying what? And when he said a hairstylist, those that know my definition of what a hairstylist is pertaining to a man checking a woman, you have to change her hair. But I'm endeavoring to find out what the brother is saying. Because right now this is a serious topic. Why would he, what are you talking about? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Um, the thing is, you know what I mean, with Brother Malcolm, by him having that strong testimony that he had and being knowledgeable, you know what I mean, the way, you know what I mean, that he was, of course it made more people, you know what I mean, gravitate, you know what I mean, to him. Of course. So there's a lot of people that was jealous of Brother Malcolm within the Nation of Islam. It wasn't that, you know what I mean, individuals within, you know what I mean, the nation, you know, wasn't as knowledgeable. No, you had brothers that was studying, you know, you had some brothers that, you know, was very knowledgeable within the Nation of Islam, you know what I mean, as well. But by Brother Malcolm having that testimony that he had, and by him having that gift, you know, to teach, to preach, you know what I mean, as you say in the street, the gift of gab, you know, by him having all of those things, yes, the people gravitated to Brother Malcolm. He had a gift. That can't, I mean, excuse me, I don't, plural, gifts, you know? But at the same time, you know what I mean, by him sitting over there, you know what I mean, having these gifts, I want you to understand who basically gave him the platform to convey his gifts. Follow me. Brother Malcolm had gifts, but who gave him the platform to convey his gifts? You know? Answer that. If it was not for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, would you know Brother Malcolm? You know what I mean? Would you know Brother Malcolm? If it was not for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know what I mean? If it was not for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taking out time, you know what I mean, to teach Brother Malcolm, to enhance the gifts that he already had, would you know him? You know, would you know him? That's all I'm saying to you. Because you must understand the Malcolm X that you fell in love with, the Malcolm X that you was mesmerized by, and you memorized everything that was conveyed by Brother Malcolm, you must understand that whole image. Him as a person, that discipline, that come from the nation. You know what I mean? That come from the nation. That come from the nation of Islam. You know what I mean? That come from the nation. You can't take that away from the nation of Islam. That whole image that you fell in love with, that you was like, oh man, Malcolm is so disciplined, and man, he's just spitting out all these 15 and 20 letter words like an M16. You know what I mean? My God. The minister that you fell in love with, the organization that equipped him was the Nation of Islam. So that person that you fell in love with, you know what I mean, the skills and all of that, that's because of the Nation of Islam. Whether you like it or not, that's because of the Nation of Islam. Now, let me go a little further. And let me put the flashlight on you. Let me put the spotlight on you. Let's say you gangbanger. You know what I mean? Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me just say this, man. Prince, right now, man, we having a discussion, brother, that's serious right now. You know, you one of the loved ones, bro. Chill out. You're doing too much. Hold on. When it comes, you know what I mean, to, you know, Brother Malcolm, let me bring it back, because look, I got to deal with all that right now. Just keep your statements and things to yourself while I'm teaching. You know, because right now that's not doing nothing but bringing misunderstanding. And as a mod, why go back and forth with individuals within the comment section? That's another thing that I want to thank the Nation of Islam and places like the Way of Holiness Mission for. See, I come from structure. That's what I want to thank, you know what I mean, the Black Peace Stone Nation for. I come from structure. That's why whenever I talk to Freeze, I ask him, I say, bro, when you going live? Because I didn't want to go live during the same time that they would go live. Okay? The reason why, you know what I mean, I wouldn't want to drop a video while a partner of mine is speaking or anything like that, because see, no disrespect, I know that y'all wasn't brought up like me, you know, and it's no disrespect to you, but you just wasn't. That which you glorify is pretty much dog doo-doo to me. All right. But let me just know, I have to just tell you guys about structure. Okay. When a minister, brother, a sister is speaking the spoken word, you will notice that even when you watch Minister Farrakhan or Minister Malcolm, or you watch Khalid Muhammad, or you watch different speakers speak, you'll always have brothers standing saying, listen, listen. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people would be in the audience speaking amongst each other. And if there's too much speaking, you know what I mean, among the brothers and sisters, if it's too much talking amongst the brethren in the congregation, the brothers basically would have to rebuke or check simply because the minister is speaking right now. It was just respect for the spoken word, when knowledge was going forth. In other words, shut the hell up. Be quiet at this time. What you saying ain't even important. Check that shit. When the minister, the leader, or whoever basically is presiding over that platform or whatever, right now, whatever you talking about, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Speak in the vernacular of silence. Now, every now and then I'll let y'all get away with one of them AOL Yahoo email ass jokes that y'all be laughing at in the comment section. But man, check that shit. When I'm teaching, especially about a subject like that, leave all them corny ass jokes over there. I'm teaching right now. Now, when we get back to this game that I never left, you know, when that misunderstanding, you know what I mean, transpired, You know what I mean? Of course, later on, you know what I mean, in the nation, you must understand that before all of the misunderstanding, the so-called betrayal, and, you know, Malcolm left because of this. Malcolm left because of that. There was brothers that were studying just like Brother Malcolm. There was brothers, you know what I mean, that felt like they were more knowledgeable than Brother Malcolm. You had brothers that felt like they were more eloquent than Brother Malcolm. It's always like that. And whenever you in an organization such as that, it's always going to be, you know, some jealousy. Always. Because at that time, Brother Malcolm had became the face of the Nation of Islam. So it's not, of course, people say Minister Farrakhan, but I'm here to tell you that Minister Farrakhan was not the only one. There were other people that wanted Brother Malcolm's spot. It happens in every lifestyle, not just in spirituality, but even in the game that happens. I can tell you from experience from being in holiness, and I can tell you from experiences from being in the street, that when it comes to men, men will admire you in the beginning. It's admiration in the beginning. It's praise and worship service in the beginning. But you must understand that as they continue to stay involved and evolve, you know, within the nation, they start looking at your position and they desire. Every man want to be the man. You got to understand that. It's just nature. Every real man wants to be, you know what I mean, the man. You know what I mean? Hold on for a minute, man. Let me, cause it's like y'all not taking me serious and y'all getting ready to get blocked. Because right now I see a lot of like guys acting like widows and male Jezebels right now. Do you think that I'm playing? You know what I mean? Like, let that go. What's wrong with you? I'm not understanding now. Because I'm going to teach and go on about my business regardless. Whoever I appointed to be a mod, it was a reason why I appointed you to be a mod. But to go back and forth with the peanut gallery and things like that, when I've appointed you to kind of like be an overseer in the comment section, come on, man, what you doing? Getting back to the teachings of mentally responding and not emotionally reacting. If somebody says anything that's contrary to the truth, get it together. Now, as far as, you know what I mean, like I said, anybody can relate to that. If you've ever had a position of power, if you ever had popularity at school, if you ever had popularity, you know what I mean, in the congregation, if you have ever had popularity, you know what I mean, in your nation or whatever you profess to be a part of, if you was popular in that, there's going to be jealousy. There's going to be brothers that's wearing that cheap perfume called jealousy that want your position. You know? So just to keep it all the way, you know what I mean, all the way, you know what I mean, 100 with you, hey, when it comes to, you know, spirituality and carnality, all of them have this similarity right here. They all get, it's people involved. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, even before I open up the phone lines, always remember that there's going to be some evil that's present. There's going to be some wickedness that's present. There's going to be some misunderstandings that's present. Why? Because people involved. Whenever people are involved, that means flesh is involved. You can look at every great movement, whether you're looking at it from a biblical or just historical outside of biblical, every great organization that came to its endpoint or came to its demise, you know what I mean, was pretty much, man, you could just sum it all up. It was some people involved. It was some people involved. When you look at the Black Panther Party, that was a party that had to stop. They had to stop that movement because it was going to give birth to too many great minds. It was going to give birth to too many individuals, you know what I mean, that was willing to put their life on the line. And like I keep telling you, all of that, you know, the speeching, the teachings is good. Not taking nothing away from the teachings and preachings. But you have to have individuals that's willing to die for what they believe in order for for what they're endeavoring to have, you know what I mean, to be obtained. If it's just a whole bunch of individuals that's not willing to die for it, it's just a bunch of people talking. It's got to be some blood shed involved. Malcolm was one of them individuals that was willing to die. So, like I said, in no way, shape, or form, this is in no disrespect to brother. I just wanted to have a conversation with adults about a topic that I always wanted to speak on, because there's so many jewels, there's so many things to understand, you know, within this situation. That's why it's no time for foolishness and all that other shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know what I mean? This is on a topic that if you pay attention, it's too many jewels in that. All of that other shit, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I'm speaking on something that even if you in the streets, your ass better pay attention. You know. So an individual might say, man, I'm not even interested in that. Man, I'm not no Muslim. I'm not into that lifestyle. That's somebody who's unwise. Because you can learn from all walks of life. And if you pay attention, you know what I mean, to, you know what I mean, basically all walks of life, there's something to learn. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not in the Nation of Islam. But have I learned a wealth of knowledge and got a wealth of understanding from the Nation of Islam? Yes, I have. So I always will have respect, you know what I mean, for those brothers. Because I've been blessed, you know what I mean, by the nation. You know, the structure. I respect the discipline, you know, and you should too. Now, as we know, you know what I mean, of course, later on, Malcolm would become, you know, the face of the Nation of Islam. He's popular. Everybody's, you know, looking at Malcolm. And, you know, a lot of individuals say, man, Brother Malcolm, he think he all of that. You know, that's just that regular nigga. Hey, no matter, when you got niggas involved, it's going to be some nigga shit. If it's some niggas involved, no matter how great that movement is, if it's some niggas involved, it's going to be some nigga shit. And that's what happened. Some nigga shit. You know, niggas started sitting over there, you know what I mean, saying to themselves, you know what I mean, that Brother Malcolm feel like he's greater than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, that Brother Malcolm was trying to take over the Nation of Islam. That Brother Malcolm feel like he Allah, you know what I mean, in the flesh. They began to speak amongst each other. They began to get into some evangelism with the criticism on Brother Malcolm's name. You know, they began to sit up there and spread negativity. They began to hate. They began to have private meetings. You know, brothers was having private meetings. You know, hey, it's the same way they do you in the street. The same way they do you at church. They'll do you like that even in the organization, the streets. Man, that spirit, that jealous spirit is omnipresent. They're going to do that everywhere. You know? So I'm telling you, like I've been telling you, take this game with you everywhere you go. Just because you go to church, that don't mean that you put your guard down. Just because you're a Muslim, that don't mean that you don't not supposed to take this game with you. I'm a Christian, take this game with you. I'm a Buddhist, take this game with you. I'm a Catholic, take this game with you. Because that's how people get hurt. That's how people get taken advantage of. That's how people get manipulated. You know what I mean? And the people that's manipulating you accumulate off of you. Because you think now that you're involved in this organization that everything is la-la land and everything is just peachy and creamy. No, it's not. Like I keep telling you, whenever some niggas is involved, you're going to deal with some nigga shit. And that's what transpired. Niggas begin to have private meetings and, you know, speak on how, you know, Malcolm trying to do this. He trying to do this. Now, keep in mind, The whole time while they sitting over here saying that Brother Malcolm is trying to take over the nation, Brother Malcolm, in your eyes, he would be considered to be broke. The way that Brother Malcolm and his wife and children live, they wasn't living no lavish lifestyle. Brother Malcolm did not live a lavish lifestyle, at all. So they trying to say that Brother Malcolm was trying to take over the nation and, you know what I mean, and all that. How? His brother wasn't, he wasn't he wasn't getting over nobody. He wasn't conning. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I just had to deal with that jealousy factor. Because whether you're in the game, you're outside the game, you're in religion, you're an atheist, wherever, you cannot escape this spirit that is omnipresent. That's why you better be equipped with this game. So when you're faced with that adversity, when you're faced with that jealousy, you'll be able to get into a continuity of mentally responding in most situations where people would emotionally react. That's why I told you to take the game with you. That's why I didn't come to give you religion, because you already had religion. I use different scriptures in different people's Bibles, and I use religious references and things like that so I can communicate with you. I'm a communicator. I'm a conversationalist. And so because I'm a gamer, because I'm an informative representative of the game, I always study things that have nothing to do with my lifestyle. That's what makes me sharper than the next representative. That's why you listen to me, then you will listen to him or them. That's why my magnetism is the way that it is. Because I watch, I listen. I take time out to even listen. Shout out to Sarnetta. I done learned some things from Sarnetta. Shout out to Sa. I done learned, pardon me. I done learned a lot from Sarnetta. And if you're not subscribed to Sarnetta TV, go over there to Sarnetta TV and tell Sa, sent me over here, he said you got a wealth of knowledge going on. I like the spirit of debate that's at Sarnetta TV because it keeps you witty. I like the spirit of debate over there at Sarnetta TV because if you were ignorant, after you get verbally crucified by the individual that's more knowledgeable than you, you might have got verbally crucified so bad. You took a roasting so bad. You took a verbal crucifixion so bad that now you're compelled to get your ass up and study because you came to a war and you didn't have no weapons. Or you might have knew the truth, but you wasn't equipped enough to be able to articulate it well. And the other person had an organized lie, and you had the truth, but you wasn't organized. An organized lie, that's going to be an individual that's organized even with the truth. That's why I'm speaking on structure, being organized, having your shit together. We get that from spirituality. Hold on. Appreciate the 5, brother. But, to wrap it up, because I got like 20 more minutes, I'm going to give you guys almost damn near 2 hours to, call in so I can listen to your opinions and things like that. But I want you to know that with all the great speeches that Brother Malcolm, preached, all the messages that he taught, this was off of the influence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You cannot take that away. I want to tell you that, that was the influence of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That also was the influence of that. All of that. When you even look at the Black Panther movement, they called themselves, a lot of them brothers was calling themselves the sons of Malcolm. And you already know you can't be a son of Malcolm if you're not a son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It all traces back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, which brings my point. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is responsible for Malcolm X. He was the spiritual father of Malcolm X. And Brother Malcolm, just like Khalid Muhammad later on, when Khalid had his discrepancy, with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he always acknowledged the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as his spiritual father, just like Malcolm X would acknowledge the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as his spiritual father, even when they had discord with one another. If you go back in them old videos, even when he spoke on the so-called hypocrisy and how, he didn't, agree with this or agree with that, he still acknowledged that his teachings, who he is today, still came from the Nation of Islam. All right? So with that being said, my question to you guys, if somebody gave you some information, and as we know, we call it game. We call it game. We call it game. What is game? Uncommon information. What is game? Knowledge. What is game? Understanding. To the know-how. Game. Information on how to conduct yourself in every circumstance in life. Game. An outstanding understanding. Game. And if somebody provided you with some enlightenment that took you out of a bad circumstance, that took you out of, a mentality that made you continuously go into a correctional facility, and now all of a sudden this individual provides a doctrine, a way of life, and now you're no longer that hoodlum. Now people don't see you as, that hoodlum. They don't see you anymore as that hustler or that pimp. They see you as a respectable, phenomenal, intellectual, informative representative. That's what they see you as. Brother Malcolm said, in the words of Brother Malcolm, he said, whenever you a representative, he's supposed to be able to what? Present, represent, and defend. And Malcolm X did that very well. He presented the information, he represented the information, and because of how knowledgeable and disciplined he was able to defend it. He did his thing. Now, I'm telling you that he was able to do all that he did because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad enabled him to do that. So my question to you, if an individual has enabled you to be successful, if an individual provided a movement for you to evolve into what you are today, are you in debt to that information? Are you in debt to the individual that blessed you with the information? If an individual provided you with some knowledge and wisdom that has completely changed your whole life, and now you are an honorable individual, people actually look at you. They actually want to be like you. They look at you as like, man, I want to be like that. Roberto, appreciate the 100. Good looking. They say, man, I wish I could speak like that. I want to be able to speak fluently and eloquently like Brother Malcolm. I want to dress like Brother Malcolm. I want to be slender like Brother Malcolm. I want to be, just when people look at me, they just see the embodiment of discipline. I want to be just like Brother Malcolm, eating one meal a day, never eating candy, not smoking, taking showers continuously. When I die, I want them to say the same thing that they said when Brother Malcolm died. They said that this was the cleanest body that we've ever seen before. I want that testimony. I want that. I want when the people that's looking for hypocrisy, they looking for my failures, they're looking for down settings, they're looking for the F's on my report card. They won't be able to find it because of how authentic I am. Just like, and this is not to shine a light on any other individual, but as well as I know, whenever the black man became prominent and dominant and, famous and things like that, they always look for a flaw. They always look for, a way to shine a light on something. Like, okay, yeah, see, he's in adultery. Okay, see here, right here, he killed somebody back in 1896. Oh, wait a minute. He called a case, that had a minor in it. This was way back. When is this? 1750 BC. Okay, what about this? The man been divorced 2 to 3 times. You know, they always will look for something. But if you're constantly telling the truth, they can't give the people a revelation about you. They can only give the people confirmation of information that you've already conveyed to the people. When you're walking in the truth, when you're speaking the truth that you're walking, can't nobody expose you. They can only give confirmation to information that you've already gave. So no, they didn't expose. They couldn't expose Brother Malcolm. Wasn't no adultery and all of that. All of this stuff that they coming out with, all this homosexual stuff, which I'm going to come to a point because I want to put that on your mind as well. If you notice, when they came out with all that gay stuff, when they was trying to make Brother Malcolm into a homosexual, notice that they did it decades after his death. Notice that when people start coming with, oh, you know, Brother Malcolm was involved in homosexuality previously before he got involved in the Nation of Islam, they came decades after his death with this shit. They didn't come with that shit when that shit wasn't spoke on when Brother Malcolm was living. But I'm just here to tell you that just like people get offended when people try to bring that gay shit, you know, with Brother Malcolm, and you get offended, and you have every right to be offended, I'm here to tell you that the brothers within the Nation of Islam have every right to feel exactly the way that they feel anytime there's slander on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because many of you I've seen videos, and it's no disrespect, y'all know that I love the music of Robert Kelly, and I'm hoping that the Most High be merciful to him and the brother get his liberty back in society. You know what I mean? He's being treated right now very unjustly. But at the same time, to be compared to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I've seen videos where people actually was trying to compare R. Kelly to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is what kills me. This is what kills me with you individuals that only watch the damn movie and you truly didn't know the real, you know, domestic life, you know, of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're just going off of what you seen, you know what I mean, off of a damn movie. I just want to give you this. You know, when they say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because many of you gonna say Brother Malcolm left the Nation of Islam because Brother Malcolm found out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was involved with teenage girls. And I've heard even people on YouTube on different platforms say this, you know, and people just say it like it's just irrefutable, you know, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yes, that's true that, you know what I mean, some of those girls, you know what I mean, were teens. But the reason why I said it wouldn't have made no sense for, you know what I mean, and anybody that, you know, you can ask any brother within the nation, they're going to tell you the very same thing. But the reason why it don't make any sense for Brother Malcolm to leave the Nation of Islam to basically sit up there and be, you know, and go to the prophet, leave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and go to the Prophet Muhammad, because if you know Prophet Muhammad, he had Aisha. To call in, they will tell you that the Prophet Muhammad had Aisha, which was his favorite wife, which he married at the age of 11 years old. These are facts. So why would it make, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that Malcolm, you painted a picture like Brother Malcolm came to a realization, a great revelation in his life, that he had just seen so much hypocrisy by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he said, oh man, I can't be involved in this, man. You sitting over here getting your R. Kelly on, man. I gotta go. And then he go follow the Prophet Muhammad, who had Aisha, who was 11 years old, and he started having conjugal visits with her when she was 14. I'm not gonna get too into this, but a lot of you look very foolish that's in the Islamic faith, or if you in Christianity, because some of you are reading books, you're reading the Bible, you're reading Quran, you're reading books of individuals, you know what I mean, who are actually married to teenagers. What are you talking about? They got teenagers pregnant, have families with teenagers. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I want you to help me. When did it become, let's say if what you're saying is accurate, this is my thing. You guys can call in and give your opinion. But this is my thing with you guys. Let's say if what you're saying is all accurate. I do not think that Malcolm X was right for going on the white man's platform and teaching against his spiritual father. Even if what you're saying is right, let's say if I'm wrong with the things that I just said and everything that you're saying is accurate, I still think that Malcolm X was out of place for coming on the white man's platform and speaking against his spiritual father. I think that was absolutely wrong. I think that Malcolm had no place to come on the same platforms that he used to have praise and worship service for Allah and for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then be on the same white man platform where he used to praise his teacher, exalt God, and give acknowledgement to his spiritual father, and then on these same platforms criticize and minimize the man, you know what I mean, that helped him realize that he needed to change the error of his ways. I think that that was absolutely wrong. I didn't think that that was manly. So we gonna discuss, I'm gonna listen to your points. I'm not gonna cut you off, but even if whatever information that you guys bring, there's nothing that's gonna convince me that going publicly against the man that made you, going publicly against the man that provided the platform for you to be who you are and for people to even know who you are, you know what I mean? I just don't see, you know, it being manly to go to the adversary's platform and speak against the man that made you. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm just built differently. See, I come from structure. I come from a nation. So I understand nation business. See, it's certain things that Farrakhan and different leaders not gonna say, but CN gonna tell you, I understand nation business. So I totally understood when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, if we dealt with him like a traitor and we dealt with him like a nation, what business is it of yours? I totally understood what he was saying because it was nation business. And you put nation business on the white man platform? Complete violation. That is a complete violation. Now, does that change that Malcolm is an individual that I'm just telling you that in that circumstance, Brother Malcolm emotionally reacted and he did not mentally respond. Now, what I will say in Malcolm's defense, you know, for people like me that ain't never been, you know, Brother Malcolm, you know, so it's easy for me to say the things that I'm saying because I wasn't in Malcolm's shoes. And at the same time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had just silenced him. And I understand that, you know, I've never been as popular as a minister as Brother Malcolm, but I know about being a teenage minister, and I know about people in their 30s, you know, and 20s copying off the way that you teach and preach and having jealousy because of your popularity in the congregation and spreading lies to the overseer to get you set down like I was. That's what happened to sin. I did not fall. I'm going to speak on it later on. I don't want to give too much because I got to give you why sin left God, you know, part 2. But I didn't fall to fornication. I didn't fall to masturbation. I didn't fall to nothing sexual. Not to make myself like a god, but sex was too weak for me to fall to. Abstaining and refraining from fornication and all of that stuff, man, that had become so easy to me like drinking water. That was nothing to me. The position that I had, at Dunbar Vocational High School, I was known to be a young minister. On prom night, you know what I mean? I wasn't on prom. I was teaching and preaching. So, no, I didn't fall to, oh, this woman was so beautiful. Oh, I just had to have this coochie. No, I didn't fall to that, brother. People lied on a young teenage minister that was in love with God and the people. And the same people that I would have died for, certain people that I would have took a bullet for, was jealous of a young minister that was in love with them. So I know what it's like, to see hypocrisy. I know what it's like to be hated on, to be lied on. And I will tell you this, just like I'm going to tell you in the future, just with more details in the future. I failed. I was put in a circumstance. It was my time to be great. It was my time to show greatness, and I failed. I emotionally reacted when I should have mentally responded, but instead on waiting on the Most High, to bring me up when the people had put me down, I began to move in my emotionalism. I did not move with knowledge and wisdom. I moved in with emotionalism. The 37-year-old me wished that I could talk to the teenage me at that time, because still from that time, that had a big effect on my life. But I have to just tell you that just speaking from that perspective, I completely understand how Malcolm felt. If you've never been lied on, especially if you've never been a part of an organization or a church or a congregation or something like, you wouldn't even understand. You wouldn't even understand. You went from being the man, you went from being somebody that everybody admired and everybody was calling to preach and teach. You went from everybody admiring you and having praise and worship service. Everybody had admiration for you. And now all of a sudden, everybody just, walking past you. Like Bobby Womack said, nobody wants you when you're down and out. But I'm here to tell you that even with the things that happened to me, even though I failed in pretty much, I failed the mission. I failed the mission that God had given, the assignment. I failed. But one thing that I will say, that looking back, I never spoke against the ministry. I never spoke against Elder Mosley. I never spoke against the elders there, because it's because of Elder Mosley and the elders that I am today. No, am I saved? No. Am I a righteous man? No, I'm a carnal man. I'm backslidden. But there's certain teachings that I still utilize and maintain to this day. And I'm thankful that I was raised in holiness. So I completely understand in this capacity that even though I didn't agree with some things that transpired, I would never publicly disrespect those who played a big part in who I am today. Keep in mind now, I didn't have a father in the home. So the elders and the guys that I looked up to in the street and different people in my family members, and you also must remember that, Brother Malcolm looked at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in a lot of ways, not just spiritual father, but his father. So to go on a platform and speak against your father, I just got to keep it real, guys. No matter how much he was lied on or what, that is completely wrong to speak against the man that made you. You don't disrespect the game. It's just like, for example, I can have some arguments, some misunderstandings with Andre Taylor. And let's say if, for example, let's say if Dre was to ever disrespect me or do whatever, you guys would never know about it. Why? Because Dre gave me, I had an understanding on certain things, but he gave me an outstanding understanding. He gave me enlightenment. A big part of the reason why you even listen to me is because of the information that I was blessed with from Andre Taylor. And so for me to publicly speak against somebody that was placed in my life to be a blessing to my life, that I could be a blessing to myself for the rest of my life, that's unmanly. Even if he's wrong, I just got to take the L and move on. That's just the way it is. Now, you might not think like that, but I do, you know? But it's that time now. Before we start this, the call in, get the likes up. Everybody hit the like button right now. Yeah, everybody hit the like button. You know? Brother, you may call in with all of that. I'm not going to cut any of you off. You listen to me, I'm going to listen to you. We're going to respect one another. I'm not trying to fight you or anything. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just giving you my views. I knew my views was completely contrary to the views of most of y'all. I completely understand that many of you really don't know a lot of things. You just know from what you've seen from a movie and the things that you heard. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has received great slander. He's been made to be this big hypocrite. He's been made to be this guy that was doing this and doing that. But that does not change the fact, regardless of you. And let me also say this, to judge a man in totality because of his relationship or relationships with a woman or women, you already lost. You trying to judge the whole character of a man because of what you heard of a relationship with some woman or women? Man, you already lost. You trying to judge this man in totality, his whole character, take away all his greatness, everything that he and you're going to snatch all of that away because of something that transpired with a woman. You guys are lost, man. You know what I mean? There are certain people that are so great and have so much greatness within them that when they're wrong, of course they still wrong. But at the same time, it's a way that you deal with the elders. The word of God even say, give the elders a double honor. That's what the word said. It's just the way that you do things. That was not decently and in order to publicly disrespect the man that basically brought you into enlightenment. No. Let's get them likes up though. Yeah, I'm not playing about that. Get my likes over 400, man, before we start this conversation. Yeah, everybody hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Let's get them likes up. Get the notifications and recommendations for the video. You know? Hold on. Let me do this. Those folks are not ready for this sort of conversation. Stephen, be quiet. Love you, loved one. I actually would love to hear your perspective. You know, me and you, even though we family, you know, we disagree about a lot of things. You remember that time we had a disagreement about Easter? And I sat up there and I taught you, you know what I mean? Because you was telling me that the resurrection was on Sunday. And I told you that, you know what I mean, he had got, according to, you know, just, you know, because he couldn't get killed on a Friday and then be resurrected on a Sunday. That's not 3 days. I told you that he had got crucified on Wednesday and he had got up according to Saturday. No, I don't remember. Sounds like a conversation from when we was young. Stop it. Stop it. Hold on. What they be saying now? Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Hold on. Okay, let's get into it, man. Bro, you sitting here living in the past. It's 2000. Oh, you don't want to. Now, my cousin, you know what I mean? He got all the degrees. Like my family, man, they got all the degrees. My cousin, he got all the degrees. My brother got his first degree at 17. All of them, they got all the degrees. I'm the only one that don't got a degree. I'm the one that didn't finish college. I'm the one that don't have a degree. All my family, brothers, sisters, cousins, grandmama, mama, uncle, all of them got degrees, man. I'm the only one that don't have one. Okay, hold on. So, no, she did not. She definitely didn't play about education. Grandmama catch you, put a whipper to your backside. All right, that 702-800-9473 number. Yeah, you can definitely use that. Let me also say, while I'm on the phone, don't call me while I'm on the phone. Wait till after the phone call. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Hey, how you doing, Sam? This is Michael calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just kind of wrote a little bit of like a response to the questions that you had asked. First of all, I want to say happy belated birthday to Malcolm X, and what's up to everybody in the chat. So the first question you had asked, you kind of asked like if we were given, all the kind of like all the power, or if we were given like knowledge that changed our lives, took us from the lowest to the low and put us on the most high, by a man, do you owe more? Do you owe more respect to the knowledge, or do you owe more respect to the man? And I just had to say that you would be more in debt to the information than you were to be in debt to the man, because the information is the information. That's like man is not perfect, but the information is. So Malcolm being the person who he was more he should have been more in depth to the information. Another thing you said.
Okay, can I respond? Can I respond? Can I respond to the first thing you
said? Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Okay, how does the information get revealed? The scripture says, how can they
By
hear?
A man.
Yeah, how could they hear without a preacher? So God uses people to be a blessing to people. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a yielded vessel that was a blessing to Brother Malcolm. So when I say that, yes, you're indebted to the information, but you're also indebted to the representation that blessed you with the information. That's the one that gave you the game. So you would always have to acknowledge where you got the knowledge from. You don't agree with that? Go ahead.
Yes, I would definitely. I agree. But wouldn't you say he was in debt, spokesperson for the Nation of Islam, and he gave so much time and effort to the nation? I'd say that he repaid his debts in those ways for him to be able to speak out in not any way he wanted to, but in the way he did, which was to kind of publicly shame the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I think all that he had done for the nation kind of gave him the right to do that, to speak out against that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is what I'm going to say to you, brother, and that you're saying, so this ain't, but me, like I said, by me coming from a spiritual aspect, all I can hear in my mind as you were speaking was, I beseech you therefore, brother, by the mercies of God, did ye present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. I'm here to tell you that everything that Brother Malcolm did, that would be considered to be his reasonable service. That's not something that, of course, to you, the creature, you think like that. But honestly, to whom much is given, much is required. And that was Brother Malcolm's reasonable service. If somebody gives you information that changes your mentality, keeps you away from being in a prison, brings your mind out of a prison, and now all of a sudden, like I said, you're respectable, you're a phenomenal, speaker, and you're being acknowledged as like this man that just can't nobody mess with in a debate. I mean, all that you are and all that you've done, he enabled you to do that. So all of the school, the final call, all of that, everything, every branch, all of that is still counted as pretty much you did these things and you were able to do these things. Not that you shouldn't receive any acknowledgement, because we're acknowledging it now. But once again, he was able to do these things because of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, this is what I want you to understand. People get so wrapped up in a person's gift that they accept the myths that come with the person who has the gift. All right? And because Brother Malcolm was a great speaker, and not taking anything from him being a speaker, but at the same time, Brother Malcolm was very knowledgeable. But when it comes to the wisdom department, that would be the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When you think of great speakers, you think of Malcolm, you think of Farrakhan, you think, of Khalid Muhammad, but as far as in the wisdom department, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is untouchable. So I don't want you to think just because somebody can speak well, regardless of how people feel about Umar Johnson, he is a great speaker. He's a great preacher. You know what I mean? But as far as in the wisdom department, I wouldn't crown him with that. But he's a very knowledgeable man, and he has a ministry that's powerful, but he just doesn't have the wisdom. But that would be the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay, but go ahead.
Can I just one rebuttal to that?
Go ahead.
In terms of Malcolm X having wisdom, I would say, because earlier today I was listening, because have to give respect to Malcolm. Earlier today I was listening to the ballot or the bullet speech, and in the speech he does give reverence to in the beginning he says, I'm still a Muslim. That is, my religion is still Islam, and I do credit the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with everything I know and who I am. So he does, even in the later, even after all the drama, he still gives credit to Elijah Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And
as he should.
I would give him points for wisdom. Because Malcolm X was the one who went over to Africa and tried to, establish like a tie and a bond between, the people of Africa who were underneath, colonial oppression and trying to fight for their independence, with the American people, the American blacks, who were also kind of in the same boat. So, I mean, I haven't seen Farrakhan, try to establish that network. So I do want to give, little points in terms of wisdom to Malcolm X because of that.
Well, I wasn't saying that Brother Malcolm didn't have any wisdom. I was saying that his teacher, the one who enabled him to be that which you know him to be, when in the wisdom department, he bar none, second to none. It's the teacher. It's you're looking at the student, but I'm here to tell you that the student shines the way that the student is shining because the teacher enabled that.
All right. I want to give somebody else another chance to call in. So I just want to say thank you, Sam, crowd, everybody listening. I hope you have a blessed day. What I'm just saying, not to take away from anything that Elijah Muhammad is doing or what Farrakhan is doing, because they have done greater things than I have done. But
and to the brothers, to my more brothers, no, this ain't the time. Don't attack yet. No. That's why I say, man, God appoint those who have wisdom. Because I see a lot of my more brothers. No, this ain't the time for that. Hold that information back at this time. When it's time to attack, when it's time to basically convey that, we'll do that at another point in time. Not for this discussion, not as of right now. because that'll end up going somewhere else, you know? Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm blessed, man. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for accepting the phone call. My name is Oliver Webb,
Mm-hmm.
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Mm-hmm. Bless me, brother. Talk to me.
I just
Go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you for the topic. This has been something that I have been thinking about for a long time, whether Malcolm's decision was wise. And on the same level as you have talked about, I have come to the conclusion that it was not wise
Thank you.
because of Malcolm's position in um, the organization. And to say that, and this is my personal opinion, and I am not in the Nation of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
but I do consider Elijah Muhammad as one of the most important figures in our African American history, because what he was able to accomplish during his time should be considered the standard for greatness, because he did bring and shepherd a people out of the wilderness. And Malcolm X served as his Paul, he served as his Moses to do so. It's just unfortunate that internal politics, in my opinion, led to an outcome that wasn't beneficial to the nation.
Mm-hmm. So we see we see the results of emotionally reacting. There was no need for Brother Malcolm to go on. See, put it like this: you have people who love Brother Malcolm so much of the things that they heard and things like that that they don't want. They're so like closed minded. They don't want to even hear anything else. Okay, but they not even understanding
True.
that the powers that be, they don't even understand that
True.
that's from the powers that be, brother, that gave you that falsified information to cause more division among blacks. Why you can't see that? They gave you that falsified information. They want to sit up there and keep you thinking that the brothers within the Nation of Islam, you know what I mean, was all behind Brother Malcolm's assassination. You know, when they didn't want to tell you who the real killer was, but they wanted to keep you looking at your brother so you can have hatred for your brother. So you can sit up there and look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as an individual you look at him with disgust. They wanted you to look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a pedophile. They want you to look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as something that he's not. Open your damn eyes so you can see. I'm not telling you to be no damn Muslim. I'm not telling you to go into the Nation of Islam. I'm telling you to open up your eyes and see this game and see how basically you understand me, the oppressor, your adversary set up there and came with so much game that he got you thinking, you know, see, this is what they did to Brother Malcolm. And they played it so good where people that didn't even care nothing about Brother Malcolm, didn't even love Brother Malcolm, didn't have no desire to listen to him at all, but because they wanted to make the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the enemy and make the nation, you know what I mean, just full of devils, you know what I mean, now they had people, the blacks, looking at, oh my God, so we love Malcolm, you know what I mean, and when we hate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we hate the nation, you know what I mean, they was the ones that took Malcolm from us. That social engineering got you thinking the things that you think. You don't even have your own mind. That's not the things that you think that you got from that movie, because you could just tell when somebody got all their shit from that damn Spike Lee movie. You know, ain't done no research or nothing. You could just tell when somebody done watched the film, or because they watched the interview, a few interviews with Malcolm, they just took it as thus saith the Lord. You know, but no, man, it just wasn't. It was not a wise decision for that man to go on. For Brother Malcolm to go on. You know what I mean? That a white man's platform coming out of the movement that he came out of, and especially the way that he used to speak so profoundly for the nation, and then just outwardly, publicly, just sit up there and just like bash the nation no. And then I like topics like this because this exposes the true character of these individuals that's in the comment section. I don't even want to be friends with a motherfucker that I give some game to. I bless you to. Hold on. Now your ass done got on some Wendy Williams shit and you going on different platforms and shit, just twerking and percolating on the white man's platform, you know what I mean, and speaking against the motherfucker that made you. No, I don't want to be cool with nobody like that. You know, I don't want to be cool with nobody like that. I can't have you around me. No, And so, like I said, the true character of individuals, you know what I mean, is being revealed when you see guys actually siding with that and saying, yeah, he was right, he was right. I just sit back and just peep game because those are the individuals that I don't want to be around, have no friendship with, be involved with, or anything. Because this is somebody that you can give your last to, give game to, lace them, and then they will sit up there and be a game thief, run away, and then speak against you especially we in the day of clout now with Instagram and all these platforms is out, so it's even more dangerous now. So you just got to pay attention, man. That's why I say I always do everything for a reason. There's always a method to my madness. Just check the comment section out. But go ahead.
No, the comment section was definitely going in, and it's unfortunate that a lot of brothers, and this is something that came across my mind, which was that Elijah Muhammad, and there was one brother in the chat room that definitely said that Elijah Muhammad was wrong for what he did, and I would not say that on a higher moral level, it was wrong. But once again, we're bringing hindsight because remember, we live in 2021 and anybody under 18 is considered a minor, protected federal, state law. But we know that the history of mankind, it was when a woman was actually able to produce a child and her body matured that people entered into relationships. And that would be considered the norm. So I'm not trying to press the issue that we haven't created a concept at 18 to protect people who could be easily influenced. But what I felt about Elijah Muhammad was that he was trying to continue a legacy. And whether we want to use hindsight to say that he was wrong for doing it or right for doing it, that is that man's burden to bear, cross to carry to when he crossed over. But for for Malcolm X to decide to speak about it, because I do think silence is speaking against it, and therefore you lose what would have been what could have been the most important person. I think that the potential of Elijah Muhammad could have been followed or could have been better served by Malcolm X than Louis Farrakhan. No diss to Louis Farrakhan, but once again, I consider Malcolm X greater than Louis Farrakhan, but not that Louis Farrakhan is lesser because he's not Malcolm X. So thank you for bringing up the topic. I don't want to stay on the phone too long because I could do this all day. But thank you, Senator P, for bringing out the topic and letting these motherfuckers go off crazy in the chat room. Because most of them don't know what they're talking about. Most of them don't deserve it. And trust me, once they do the blockchain, half these cats won't even be able to type. They're going to take the computers away from them because their opinion won't matter in the real world. Guys who will be able to go out there and communicate effectively and get shit done will influence the world. Right now, it's just a lot of, keyboard thugs. So ignore those cats, but keep spreading the word. Thank you. I'm going to hop off. I appreciate the conversation.
All right, brother. Hello.
Hello, Brother Stance. How you doing, brother? I got through.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was calling trying to get through.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's a
can you hear
blessing to
me?
hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, brother. I can hear you.
Yes. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, brother. I'm in the nation, brother.
Hmm.
I'm a third generation Muslim in the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
And I just want to address I just want to address a couple of things that is often repeated, but if you study with a little bit of research, you'll find that this is not true and this is true. And our one of our brothers, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, did a wonderful representation of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he broke down this whole issue that you're bringing up, which I respect, brother. As a man of God, I respect you for what you're doing. So I just want to get on one fact that the messenger's youngest wife at the time of his marriage to her was only 20 years old. I believe 19, about to be 20.
Yeah, she was
So
she was
a
19.
19-year-old,
She was 19. Go ahead.
right. So, correct. So a 19-year-old at the time of marriage, and she didn't conceive her child, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is really predicated upon misinformation, much like Satan does with his mediums. And Malcolm used that and scandalized and said teenage. He was correct. She was a teenager because 19 years old is a teenager. It's 19. However, the way it was used and misconstrued and twisted
Thank you.
around was made it to look like it was underage. And she was well above age. So a lot of people are saying that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad committed adultery.
Hmm.
In Islam, for the Messenger of Allah, you know, as a Muslim, in Islam, for the Messenger of Allah, polygamy is allowed. And even further, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was said and spoke up on and said that Master Fard Muhammad, who was a lying person, said for him, forced him to take on wives. And if you look at the wisdom, like you were talking about the wisdom of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which we believe he got it from God in person. But the wisdom was all of his children prior to 1975, all of his children from his first wife, Mother Clara Muhammad, none of them are in the nation now. So the Nation of Islam in 1975, if he wouldn't have had extra children or more children from those wives, it would have never, the nation would have not been able to continue on. His son, Ishmael Muhammad, from his youngest wife, Mother Tainetta Muhammad, is the national spokesperson in the nation. We wouldn't have a national spokesperson in the nation, Brother Ishmael Muhammad, if that had not taken place. So man's wisdom, as you can see, some people's wisdom, I should say, is short-sighted, whereas God's wisdom is far-sighted. So, you know, I just wanted to, you know, and I think you represented it right, brother. You know, the messenger is a wise man, a God-taught man, as we believe, and a lot of people that would have never walked with Malcolm in his day, that would have never even spoke to Malcolm, would have treated him, you know, like a pariah, like most did. And from what my mother and my father and my grandmother and my grandfather have told me, that back in those days, in the 50s and the 60s, it was hard being a Muslim. You know, Islam wasn't as prevalent as it is today. So those believers that were around during that time had a hard line to toe. And a lot of people don't really understand, Brother Sin, I'm gonna stop with this. A lot of people don't really understand what goes on in the nation. Like you said, you know nation business. Mm-hmm. In the nation, we conduct ourselves in a certain way, by a certain creed, as men, as women. And when you scandalize someone that has cleaned up our life like you did, you see that we stood for, you know? So that's how, so the emotions are gonna come up. But people are looking at it from the outside looking in and not from the inside looking out. And as a Muslim in the nation, I look at it from the inside out. And if you was my brother or my sister and you tried to come against my parents, I'm going to fight you too, because that's the person putting food on my table. Right. So, you know, I just wanted to provide a perspective from a brother that's, you know, active FOI. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Let me just say this to you, because it's funny you said parent. And you already know that the scripture says, honor thy father. And notice it says father before mother. But honor thy father and mother, that thy days may be prolonged on the earth. Okay? Now, another scripture, I believe it's in Malachi, it says, why call me father and you don't give me any honor? So the thing I just want to bring to attention, when someone is your spiritual father, and you are a spiritual son, you respect this individual highly. And what I mean by that, a spiritual father, meaning that you helped give birth to me in this. I am now alive. I exist because of you. Everything that I am, everything that I have, me being knowledgeable, me being able to do this is because of you. So regardless of a father saying or doing something contrary, let's just say if what they were saying was accurate. Let's say even if the girls was 16, 17, let's take it there. Let's say if what they were saying was accurate. The reason why I would still look at Malcolm crazy is because this is an individual that blessed you to be who you are. When your father is wrong, you don't deal with your father the same way you would deal with any nigga in the street. You don't. That's not in order.
That's right.
This is your father. Right. So you have to properly do things. It's a way that you do things. You just don't talk to your father any kind of way. You don't mistreat your father any kind of way. And any son, you probably 9 out of 10 wasn't a son in the beginning. That's what, see, I'm just taking it. Right. Listen to me. Let me just say this. I'm not in the nation, but I'm putting myself in the mind frame of somebody who's active in the Nation of Islam during that time. Let's say if he might be an individual like me, you have to understand, I come from special ed education. I was labeled as learning disability and behavior disorder. You must understand that I was told that I wouldn't see, 18. They told my mother to get life insurance. So, with all the things, I've been to prison, the case that I caught. And so people look at me as a despicable human being, as the bottom of their shoe. And to become a part of a family, or organization, and you accept me like you accept your flesh brother. I come and you love me like I came out of the womb of your mother. Brother, if we have an ought with one another, a misunderstanding with one another, we will deal with that as men. I will not publicly especially go on enemy's platform, the white man's platform, and disrespect you. Why? Because regardless of whether you're right or wrong, I still love you. And it's a way that I deal with you. I'm going to deal with you, the way that a brother in the spirit of wisdom would deal with you. I'm going to rebuke you as the spirit of wisdom give me understanding to do that. And I don't think the spirit of wisdom, brother, would lead me to the adversary's platform to criticize and minimize you. I just don't think that.
That's right. That's right, brother. I wanted to add to that. It's like a baby coming fresh out the womb and then turning around and slapping the mother for having it. That's like, you can't be a man of principle and then violate your principle and then blame the man that you violated your principle against and say, well, you're not principled either. Malcolm had to take responsibility for that. And Malcolm wanted to get back in the nation. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I don't think that point that you made, brother, that he's pretty much biting the hand that fed you. This man is your genesis of your awakening. And you totally disregard that and slander him to his enemy, which is the white man at that time. So, yeah, I agree, brother. I fully agree. And I just want to thank you, Brother Simple P, for allowing me to have that, brother. And I wanted to address something that you said. You said you were a man that have backslid, and brother, God is always there. Even what you're doing in the little bit of game that you give him, brother, it's never over. You always gonna be a child of God. We all. It said when you said that, it brought up the scripture. But he said, "He without sin cast the first stone." Can't nobody judge you. You judge yourself. Your honesty, brother. I appreciate that, brother. You don't see that today. So, okay. and I'm praying to Allah that He continue to bless you. I'm gonna go though. I ain't gonna keep you.
Well, beloved, I appreciate everything that you said, but at another time we could get into that debate. But it's the reason why I say what I say, and I definitely have scripture as justification of why I'm saying what I'm saying. But I appreciate you for speaking your piece.
Yes, sir.
Blessings.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
All right. Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. First of all, let me give exaltation and adoration to this game.
Oh man.
Definitely,
Oh yes.
definitely would like to honor you as a facilitator, man. You do such a wonderful job of eloquently conveying exactly what it is that's in the minds of both the participants of the game and those females that are there, man. And that is definitely something that is commendable. But not to take away from your point at all, because I definitely believe that there is a must in honoring the parents. But I want to point out something that I haven't heard just yet. First of all, the Prophet Muhammad, and I mean the Arabian Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually had a wife that was 9 years old, but he did not go with her until she was of age. So that underage marriage thing, it still can be, as that's an example of him knowing that is too young of a woman for him to go lay with, so he stayed away from her until she was older. But what I wanted to say was, when you're talking about an individual that's as intelligent as Malcolm X, it just hurts people's feelings to see a man act out emotionally that's that logical. And what actually was taking place right then is that he felt betrayed by his mentor. At the particular point before his death, when he actually found out that Islam has nothing to do with color, and don't, by all means, don't take it as that I'm not for my people, because I am. But praying with him, he felt like he'd been bamboozled, run amok, hoodwinked by the individual that he claimed to be his father, and he lashed out emotionally. He attacked the man, and I'm not by any means trying to justify that. All I'm saying is, in that particular moment of weakness, he got overtaken because the individual whom he had the most trust in, whom he looked up to as a father, lied to him, taught him a spirit of racism and mixed it in with his religiosity. And when he began to study for himself and his eyes began to open up, he saw that there's no place for that. There's no place for that. The Creator created all things and is a respecter of none of it, because he made it up.
Brother, and this is no disrespect to you. You got a lot of studying to do. You know, I know you think that with what you just said, you think that you just said something profound, but you didn't. You got, see, like I said, most of you got your knowledge from a movie or what you heard, but you haven't done any studying. When Brother Malcolm went to Mecca, you do understand that that wasn't his first time going to Mecca, right?
Right.
You do understand that when Brother Malcolm went to Mecca, it wasn't like it was in the movie, that he had came to a divine revelation that, you know, God got pale-faced Muslims and Muslims of other nationalities. You do understand that, well, it's a difference from what happened in real life and what happened in that movie, right?
Most definitely.
Okay. So as far as racism and all of that, I don't know where you're going with that, but that's not what it is. That's not why Brother Malcolm left. That didn't have nothing to do with why Brother Malcolm left the Nation of Islam. That didn't have nothing. You talk, matter of fact, if you understand, you speaking about the same man that silenced Malcolm from speaking on the president. And the reason why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his greatness, in his wisdom, you understand me, silenced Brother Malcolm, because not only would that bring pressure on different Muslim brothers and sisters, but that was also going, hold on. So you got to think about the things that you're saying You know, and you need to do some more studying, because right now you don't have it. But that has nothing to do with Brother Malcolm. It's not because, oh my God, I can't believe that you lied to me. Oh my God, I can't sleep at night. You know what I mean? I've been up for 96 hours because I found out that you lied to me. It's not that, brother. It's not that. It's not, oh my God, I looked at you like this and you lied to me. No, it's not that. That's a damn movie. But that's not what really happened. Like I said, you need to do some more studying and get away from that Spike Lee movie. That's not what
Can I
happened.
interject for 1 second and bring up the point that there's also the possibility of the reprobate mind actually playing a factor? There is a possibility, and I'm just throwing this out there as a possibility.
How is the reprobate mind? Excuse me, brother. How is the reprobate mind a factor? Explain this.
Because even though you can have been somewhere 1,000 times, seen a sea of people, actually worship with these people, the mindset in which you're in at this particular moment can block you from actually accepting the fact that we're all one nationality, race, and creed.
Brother,
The
that has
Quran
nothing
itself
that has
actually does not
nothing
teach.
that has nothing to do with nothing, brother. When you're a reprobate, that means that you're rejected. That means the Most High has rejected you.
Right, and your mind is closed off to the truth.
That means that, you know what I mean, the Most High has rejected you and salvation is not being offered to you. So how is a reprobate in place when speaking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or speaking about Minister Malcolm X, brother? How?
Because to the point that I was making is that the Quran itself strictly teaches against any sex, any nationality and creed, putting the rich man over the poor. It strictly teaches against all of that. So
Brother,
if you're participating in a religion that practices that type of promotion,
brother, listen to me. And I mean this, beloved. The scripture says, acknowledge him in all thy ways and lean not to thine own understanding. All right? And another scripture says, in all thy getting, get understanding. So what I need for you to do is I just want you to acknowledge the Most High and ask him to open up, because as of right now, you don't have it. I'm going to open up the phone lines for another caller. But brother, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not a reprobate, and neither was Brother Malcolm. So no, it wasn't the mentality of a reprobate or any of what you're saying, brother. You got to research this subject a little bit more. Blessings to you. Hello.
Hey, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, by Allah's grace, mercy, and permission. My spiritual father was in class with Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Minister Farrakhan, and they all said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So and he taught me decades, and I can tell you what you want, anything you want to know from the inside, because it's too much, like the last brother, it's too much outside lies, truths, myths, truths, half-truths going on. But you're absolutely correct by bringing forth the principle of don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Thank you.
And that theology exists in every black household, but we understand it not. Everyone, 99.99% of our parents, and maybe more, have all told us, and finish the sentence for me, boy brought you into this world, and what?
And I could take you out.
I could take you smooth up out of here.
Right.
So, yeah. But the problem with Malcolm, the reason he turned on Honorable Elijah Muhammad and bit the hand that fed him, Elijah Muhammad raised him up from a prisoner and a thief and a drug dealer and a drug user, cleaned him up, as we would say. And the real psychological reason that Malcolm turned on his teacher was because, just like you said, starting at 2:34 of your broadcast, you mentioned the word father. Every human being born longs for his or her father. And Malcolm's father was lynched by the white man, and when the white man finished lynching him, he laid his father on the railroad tracks and let the train run over him. And when Malcolm's mother went to collect and cut his body in half and chew his body up, and when Malcolm's mother went to collect on the insurance, the white man told her it was a suicide. Now get the hell out of my office and go take care of your damn kids, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. So Malcolm grew up without a father. And he, instead of looking at Honorable Elijah Muhammad as his spiritual father, he looked at him more as an earthly father. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like the attention on Honorable wives. He didn't like the attention that they were taking away from him. And he didn't fit the image that Malcolm wanted him to fit. So Malcolm got on an ego trip about Elijah Muhammad and went to the enemy and came up. He and the enemy got together and doctored up stories about lies and stories about Elijah Muhammad and little girls and secretaries, which weren't true.
Right.
Elijah Muhammad was a righteous man. And in the Holy Quran, like the brother talked about before, a regular man is allowed 4 wives if he could take care of them. The Holy Quran says a regular man can have 4 wives if he's wealthy enough, if he has the wealth to take care of them. But one is better for you if you but knew. And a prophet or messenger is allowed 9 wives.
I mean,
Elijah Muhammad.
If I'm not, excuse me for cutting you off, brother, but you gonna let me know if I'm wrong. But didn't the Prophet Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have 11 wives?
He had 11. You're absolutely correct, okay, brother. And Allah made him reduce the number back to 9.
Mm-hmm.
God told him go back to 9 wives. And so, what we see playing out, Hosea 4:6, black people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. 2 Timothy, study to show yourself approved, for a worker need not be ashamed for rightly dividing the truth from the lies. The problem is black people don't want to study. And if you study and do your homework and your research, they think the Nation of Islam and Muslims is a cult. But black people don't realize in Malachi 4:1, mm-hmm, God, in the Bible, God called for a man named Elijah. In Matthew 17:11, the Jesus of 2,000 years ago said, "Is it expedient that I go away?" And the next Jesus that would come would be a man named Elijah. When Jesus was on the cross being lynched by white people, he called for a man named Elijah. Black people's biggest problem, they don't realize that the Jesus that they're looking for in the church, the Jesus that they're looking for in the Bible, is Elijah Muhammad. And black people, that's why the scripture says, I was in the world, and the world knew me not. Elijah has come already. But since we are so full of self-hatred, a nigga ain't sweet honey iced tea. A nigga can't be God. But God is black. All the prophets are black. But since we are so full of self-hatred, we can't accept a Jesus coming to us. And the proof one of the many proofs that Elijah is the Jesus that they're looking for is he started warning us about COVID and Corona and AIDS and crack in 1934. If you turn to Message to the Black Man, page 64 and 65, which was published in 1965, you will see him warning us about the genocidal chemical attacks on the black man in America. And Malcolm, because of his violation, because he bit the hand and fed him, Malcolm has become a cursed man. He was cursed with death. And his curse continues because his grandbaby burned his wife up in a house. Malcolm was cursed by turning against Elijah. And the CIA in the book, The Judas Factor, had 100,000 pages of Malcolm X's international movements. Now, you know, if a brother from the hood got one page on you, he's gonna do something to you.
Mm-hmm.
The CIA had 100,000 pages on his movements across the world. And when Malcolm's plane landed in France, federal officials from the French government got on the plane and told him, Malcolm X, sit back down, stay on this plane, do not get off this plane. And Malcolm said, why? You're not allowed on French soil. Malcolm asked him why. And the French officials told him, you are on the international CIA assassination list, and we do not want your blood shed on French soil. So you must leave.
What you're saying. Yeah, I've heard this many times, and I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, number one, because I have respect and love for you, beloved. Now, me personally.
Yes, sir, beloved.
Now, me personally, I don't believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, and this it don't have anything to do with color, but no, I don't think that he is the so-called Jesus that the people are, because even the so-called, I don't want to get too into that, but the Jesus that they looking for, that dude don't even exist. But that's another discussion. I'll deal with all that later. But I respect and honor those who are actually authentic and really in it. Now, like I said, I don't agree with the teachings of Islam in totality. Neither do I agree with the teachings of the Nation of Islam in totality. But reality is, I am blessed because some of the teachings that I agree with, I took it and I applied it to my life, you know? And
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because the teachings have been a blessing to me, I will always honor, you know, and never disrespect, you know. Now, I do agree, and like I told the brothers, because I had some of the brothers, you know, as we say, some of the moles up in here, I told some of the Moors brothers to hold back their peace because I already know what they was going to say, and I totally agree, you know, not as far as everything, but yes, that's true. We'll speak on that at another time, beloved. Some of the teachings was taken from the noble Drew Ali. That's facts. But what I will say to you is I respect you. And even though we don't agree and we don't see eye to eye on everything concerning doctrine, one thing that we can agree on as brotherly love, by you being, you know what I mean, a brother, I would never go on the other's platform to disrespect you, and we ain't even physically been around each other. Now, how is it?
Amen, bro.
Now, how is it that I won't go, you know, on somebody else's platform, and hold on. Those that listen to me, they already know about the situation that I spoke on about one of the black males that was in Whole Foods, and he was following, you know what I mean, this, white woman around within the store. And then he followed her outside. And of course, she became belligerent, and she hollered, don't follow me to my car, sir. Now, I use that for an example. Even though he was in the wrong, and yes, he looked very foolish, I didn't laugh at him or say anything to bring laughter or roast him simply because I'm in the presence of white people, and that's a white woman that he was endeavoring to have. But I just couldn't, even though he looked like Boo Boo the Fool to me doing what he was doing, I wasn't going to verbally crucify or laugh at him or mortify him in front of the others. Why? Because even though he's a foolish brother, he's still a brother. So how is it that I have this much respect for the black man, the black male, you know what I mean? And even though I don't hate niggas, I do hate niggas. But at the same time, I won't get on just have a slander campaign against the brother. Even if me and you could have just had an argument. Me and you could have just got into a fight, and it's just certain things that I won't do because I'm built different.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is this, and I didn't have a father in the home either, but I came up in holiness. Then there were people, that I looked up to, almost as gods in the flesh, that was Blackstones coming up. Then there were people that I looked, and then there were people that I loved and looked at, and they didn't have nothing to do with spirituality, but reality is they just had a thing for, reading, studying, always being on point. They were Renaissance men, to say. So there's a lot of people that played a part in my life. And those individuals that played a big part in my life, I would never go on a platform and just a white man's platform and speak against these individuals. So my point is, if I got this much respect for them, how come Brother Malcolm didn't have this much respect and love for his overseer, the man that made him? That's what I can't understand.
Because of what, who gave the answer to that question?
Who?
How would they know except they have a teacher?
Mm-hmm.
And how would they have a teacher except that he be sent?
Mm-hmm.
See, Hebrews 3:4 tells us that every man has a maker.
Yep.
That's why God ordains the father and the mother, because the father teaches the power side. The father is the protector, while the mother is the nurturer. The father is the policeman of the house, while the mother is the nurturer. And that's why we no longer have a community anymore, because all the men have been killed off. But Malcolm got caught in violation, and your mind vibrates at a higher vibratory frequency than to violate the principle of calling another man out and shaming him in public. Why? Because deep down within yourself, you understood what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. A man's mind is seen in his handiwork.
Mm-hmm.
And so this brother's mind has been bombarded with the white woman being the beauty standard. America teaches us to worship white folks. So he was just acting on what he had been taught. He destroyed for the lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6.
Mm-hmm.
And so you took that as a man of God, the God within you. You use the God within you instead of using the Satan within you, because God and the devil are in us all.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose to use at that particular time. You chose to use the God within, and speak and act to the best in that man. You see?
Yeah. Well, brother, I appreciate you for blessing me with that edification that you came with. And hopefully this won't be the last time that we fellowship, because in the future I will have topics that is similar to the one that we having right now.
Oh yeah, no, I love your platform, brother. I contribute whenever I can, when I can, while I can. You got one of the best things. You got one of the best things going on the computer.
I appreciate that, and thank you for calling in.
God wants to use you in a mighty way.
Well, hopefully one of these days I'll be used. But thank you, brother, for calling in, loved one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, beloved.
Hello.
All right, man. I just want to call in. I'm not gonna say whether I feel that Malcolm was right or wrong about being on a white man's platform.
You said you're not gonna say?
So, because people gonna feel how they feel, and actually, I'm kind of torn in between the two. So that's why.
Well, brother, that's the discussion that we had. That's the discussion that we're having right now. So when you're ready to answer that question, call back in. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. Hold on. That's like me having a topic and calling and be like, yeah, well, I ain't gonna answer the question that you asking, but well, like, where y'all man be at? Even though that's what we talking about, I ain't gonna answer it, cause what? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glory to the game.
Talk to me.
I was just I would like to say that I believe that the way, just my ideology, I believe that Malcolm was wrong for broadcasting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad business to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I would say that there was more of an in-house, in our circle kind of thing that should have been addressed within our perimeters before it ever got outside of our thing that we had going on. So I just believe that, and that is on there right there. He was wrong, and he kind of put a green light on himself once you bring my business and you are scolding me publicly. I'm taking it as all the gloves off now. Is you are up now, so we have to handle it that way. But I got respect for all due respect for both of them, because they promoted me into the man I'm.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling in, brother. Blessings to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Filmo, you crazy. Whole comment section just going in. Hello.
Hey, son, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Talk to me.
Good, man. I just want to say thank you for Islam, and you name it. Minister Farrakhan off of YouTube took a lot of guts for you to do this platform and articulate the messenger in a respectful and righteous manner. I just want to say thank you for doing that, brother. That's all.
Man, thank you for calling in and just acknowledging the Most High using a nobody to be a blessing to anybody that was willing to listen at this time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all
sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead and speak, brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I'm not really sure where you're at in the conversation because I just chimed in, but I'm gonna say that I don't think that the brother Malcolm was wrong for going against Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I do not think he was wrong because Malcolm found out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't real righteous the way he thought he was. You understand what I'm saying?
How do you know? When you
found out that he was messing with the girls and all that.
Okay, what were the ages? What were the ages of the girls?
Well, those guys went against the teaching that he was teaching Malcolm. He was teaching Malcolm you can't fornicate.
Brother, listen. Listen. Brother, listen. You just like most of the people that's calling in. Your knowledge is coming from a damn movie. You need to study. You speaking on a man and you don't know nothing about him. You don't know the ages of the girls. You don't know, and you talking about fornicate. How did he fornicate? If he's
I don't know
having
fornicating
sex,
is the word, but he had a wife and he was messing with the other girls and all that.
Brother, if he's married, how is he fornicating?
Like I said, I'm not using the wrong word. He was
brother, just
not fornicating. He was
just for right now, brother. Just enjoy your food and just enjoy this game. Blessings to you. Thank you. Moving on.
Well, I just wanted to say in regards to this sensitive topic that I think that Malcolm X was wrong in regards to his actions, you know, and discussing Elijah Muhammad's personal domestic life. I think that a lot of people are kind of misled by the movie. You know, it didn't happen like that. I do believe it is in the middle. I've looked at both sides. You know, the people that came from Zach Condo's side and people who are more, you know, anti-NOI. And I've looked at, you know, Farrakhan and John Ali and Lance Shaws and these different people who are more pro-NOI. And I think the truth is in the middle. I mean, Malcolm, like I said, I love Malcolm to death. I listen to his speeches, but, you know, he was capping about the reason why he did that, you know, and he capped about the women's age, you know, the young lady's age, his mother Evelyn, and these people ages, and you know the whole story about finding Islam, and there's a lot of things he was capping. And I think if you kind of look at it from just a look at, let me go into it, looking at both sides and putting the information together and see what adds up, you'll see that Malcolm X wasn't all the way truthful. I mean, if you read his autobiography, like I said, with the Islam, he had already been to Mecca. He already been to the Middle East. He even said that white Muslims would come to his speeches and try to get him into Orthodox Islam. You know, this is all in, you know, he already been over there and toured. And
they made it in the movie as if it was his first time going to Mecca, and then when he go there, that's when he received a divine revelation that basically, you know, God got pale-faced Muslims, you know, that worship too, and that's why, you know, he found out that God is more than just the God of black people. Like the way that the movie shows things is as if Malcolm came to a realization, like, wow, I was wrong. God loved them too. Wow, like the movie got a lot of people's minds messed up, and like I said, we just so backwards where we love ignorance. We disrespect intelligence. We love the unwise. We hate on the wise. You know what I mean? You glorify people that got shot. You're not looking at the shooter. You glorify. You put the son over the father. You know what I mean? You give you honor the mother more than you honor the father. We just backwards. Just backwards. Just a backwards ass people.
Exactly.
A backwards ass people. Most of you right now. Most of you guys in the comment section right now, I bet you don't even know how to tie a tie. And by most of you not having a father in the home, you meet a man, he's a father to you, he teach you how to do this, he teach you how to do that. Come on, man. It's almost like, say for example, a guy being raised around a bunch of girls, and he's feminine. He got that effeminate spirit until he come around, you know what I mean, a masculine man or masculine men. And they say, boy, don't walk like that. Boy, don't put your hand like that. Come here. Or, you know what I mean, at first he was a tattletale. He was telling on everything. Now he got an uncle or a father or a stepfather or somebody, and he'll be like, boy, stop telling on your brother and sister. Stop being a telltale. Hit him dead in his chest. You know, like, I could just tell just by a lot of things that's said in the comment section how a lot of y'all was raised. You don't do that, people. And the fact that you actually have guys, not women, guys, so-called men, that's honoring that. Like, I don't think he was wrong for disrespecting the man that gave him game and enabled him and gave him a platform to do the things that he do. And even though he the reason why we even know what a Malcolm X is, you know what I mean? I don't think that, you know what I mean, he was wrong for doing what he did, going on disrespecting his spiritual father publicly, you know, on the adversary's platforms. What? You look crazy. You look very crazy. You look emotional. You look sissified. You know what I mean? You look crazy to me. And then when y'all come in here with all of that, yeah, man, he was messing with them kids, man. Oh, he was messing with the kids? How old? What was the ages? The guy didn't even know the ages. Like I said, a lot of you are just repeating what you heard. You don't have no proof to prove basically what you're saying. You're just talking out your ass. And that is very feminine for a guy to sit up there and call slander, especially on a dead man, and you just getting into some evangelism with the criticism on a man that you don't even fucking know. That's gay. That's lame. Men don't do that. So, what were you saying, brother? Go ahead.
Well, I also wanted to add too, because, and I try to tell people this, like, you know, Malcolm X was before he met the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. And I think that a lot of times with us, because we, you know, we in the age of clout, you know, we're in the age of exposing people, we're in the age of embarrassing ourselves before the world. And we're not used to having to make the decisions of a free people. You have to understand that if you look at any group of people, that sometimes a person that can bring you a better way of holding down a family, a better way of eating, a better way of living, a better way of looking at yourself and each other, that might not always be the best on the silver platter. It might, you know, if you look at any man, it's been men that have been able to raise up a group of people or elevate their society, and they wasn't all the way perfect or didn't have the all the way best personality or weren't, you know, the best speakers, etc. And see, with us, it's like, when we're confronted with the problems of a free people, we tend to run back to the mental, moral, and emotional plantation of the dominant society. And people don't really understand that that's really what Malcolm did. Like, if you look at the beginning of this nation, of any nation, it was issues, it was problems. It was problems in leadership, it was issues with this individual, between that individual. Like all the founding fathers of this country didn't like each other. It was definitely issues, but it's like when we confronted with issues that confront you when you're trying to move in a different direction, we run back and do the crab in the barrel and the tail bearing. So we have to like look at ourselves and understand this. A lot of things of our thought process and our minds and how we look at situations aren't 100% correct. And for me to go to when you look at the full story behind Malcolm and Elijah, that wasn't even his issue. Wasn't even originally with Elijah Muhammad. You know what I mean? It's something that you did because you were harboring something, and you wanted to strike back at the man. And I just find it funny that us in 2021 are really the most vocal about that. If you look at the generation when all that was going on in the early 60s, early mid 60s, it's people now that are more judgmental now about that than it was then. And I don't see how, as a generation, you know, as the type of people that we've exalted over us as cultural leaders, as political leaders, that has led us into a deeper perversion and into deeper madness and craziness, can have some type of moral high ground, have the minds of the people now. So it's like, it's just crazy that we would do that and have some type of moral high ground as the king baby mama makers and the people that the stuff that we do. So I just, that's all I wanted to put. I just wanted to say that, you know, we need to maybe reevaluate our thinking, how we look at the world and how we look at revolution. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, brother, for calling in. Blessings to you. Hold on for a moment. Let me see if I can see what he's doing.
Wilson, Fuda P, what up, man?
What's going on, Sa?
Everything cool? What's happening?
I wanted to call you because I wanted to get your opinion on something, and you know, me and you share different views on this topic. And so far, I've been getting majority of the people been agreeing with me, but I know out here in the real world, majority of the people don't agree with me. So I'm searching for the individuals that don't agree with me and that can speak facts, you know, on why they don't agree with me. So I said, who better to call than Sa Neter?
Oh, man.
I said, let me sit up there and call my uncle. You know what I mean? Let me sit up there and call somebody, you know what I mean, that I done got, you know, some knowledge from. You know what I mean? Let me call somebody that I respect. You know, we don't agree on everything. I said, but let me go ahead and call Sa and see what he got to say up on the matter.
Okay.
Now, the subject simply, because, you know, we speaking about Brother Malcolm, and we speaking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the question is, was Brother Malcolm right for speaking against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad publicly, and I even add that to it, on the white man's platform?
Well, you know, a lot of people love Malcolm, but to keep it a buck, I said this and I said it live on the air. People don't like me for it, but Malcolm was definitely wrong. He was wrong for doing what he was and not looking at who made him Malcolm. It wouldn't be no Malcolm, man. He was wrong, point blank. I don't know what else to say. And we love him. And I just celebrated his birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
That don't mean we don't respect and share him love. But he was wrong, and we need to learn from the mistakes that our ancestors put in front of us.
Okay, can I ask you, do you know the ages of the alleged teenage girls that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad allegedly was involved with?
No. All we go by is what people say, but I mean myself, I don't know the ages of them.
Okay.
And at that time, it wasn't during that time, people don't like to hear the truth either. Everybody was doing it. A lot of older men was doing that. Right. A lot of older men had younger women at that time because it wasn't like a age thing on that. It wasn't like a law.
Exactly.
You know, like if you was a teenager, it was cool. We ain't talking about no 5-year-old, 7-year-old.
No.
We talking about like if you in the teens, it was like everybody was doing that shit. That's the truth.
Right.
But they just picked Elijah because he had a movement going on. You know.
So, okay, let me, and that's why, even though we're speaking on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Malcolm X, I wanted to make it more relatable to the people. I asked them, I said, and matter of fact, I can even ask you that because I forgot what the brother's name was, but you remember the circumstance that you had with this one brother, that you was a blessing to him. He was sleeping in his car, I think, when you met him. And
yeah, that's from Terry.
Yeah, and you was a blessing to him, and he was, matter of fact, he was the first one to pretty much start coming over to my channel because he was trying to have debates among the pimping, and he was just trying to get debates and things going. But we both know that later on, he ended up, you know, saying some things he had no business saying. You know, I don't know what caused it, but he basically began to speak negative upon you on somebody that was a blessing to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the first one that got him a place to stay because you need to help Perry out, you know? And he did that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I'm just speaking on as far as betrayal, you know, or just, you know, being a blessing to somebody, and the same individual that you reached for or picked up, the same person you picked up off the floor is now trying to bring you down. You know?
Right.
That just looks that looks crazy. And the fact that people would actually
when I went
be
out to Cali, I seen him. I met up with him, and he he basically cried on my shoulder, told me how sorry he was. He did all of that.
Okay. And he should have.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because once you told me that he had even did that, I pretty much had disdained the brother. He would come all in the comment section telling me how he was trying to get me and Maroy, because at that time Maroy was living and everything. But once you told me that, I ain't had no dealings with him, because that's just how I was raised. That's just how I come up. If somebody was a blessing to you, and then you bite the hand that feeds you, you know what I mean? You would do the same thing with me. So I don't want no parts. I don't want a fellowship with you.
Yeah, you already know. Yep.
Is it anything that you want to say to the people basically whose knowledge, the only knowledge that they have about Brother Malcolm is from a Spike Lee movie called Malcolm X? And of course, they made the things they seen in that film to be the irrefutable truth. Is it anything that you would tell them or recommend them to read or seek after to get another view of things, to get, a wider perspective, on this matter?
Yes, I would simply say, before you cast judgment, you really have to be a part of a movement. A lot of people that cast judgment all the time, they really never been a part of a powerful movement such as the Nation of Islam at that time. And when you have somebody that's considered to be like a father figure who helped you get off of drugs, who helped you beat things like that, the church would close their doors on them brothers. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad opened his doors for all the drug abusers, all the jail people that came home from prison. This is why they loved him so much at that time. And you see, even Malcolm X, he came home. He was a drug abuser, drug user, messing with white women, doing all kind of stuff, But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took him in, took him in. So before we cast judgment, you got to understand what a movement is, and put yourself in that situation. That's the only thing I could say to him. Okay.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking some time out, to give clarity and show charity, to me and, the listeners that's listening right now.
Yes, sir. You already know, man.
And I definitely want.
I tell people all the time, man. Y'all don't think simple don't do it.
Like I said, and that's the perfect. I would be the perfect example, because pretty much all the squares on YouTube, they consider me to be the lowest form of a human being. They consider me to be despicable.
What I've learned, man, is that these people that consider you to be like that, we never seen their life. We'd probably be surprised, or we wouldn't be surprised if we was to be looking into their life and see how they living and see what they up to.
Right.
I guarantee you, man, they'll be living a savage life that we don't approve it and we don't agree with, man.
Facts. Well, let me get on to these other callers. I appreciate you for blessing me, with your time, Sal. Love.
All right, you got me on tape?
Yeah, we live. We was live the whole time.
Oh, beautiful. That's what I was hoping. I was like, man, I hope he got me live.
Yeah. I'm live. I'm live right now.
Family to let them know. Man, I'm not saying this behind closed doors. This is real.
Yeah.
I've always expected.
As a matter of fact, hold on. Before I let you go, was there anything that you wanted to promote or let the people know about that you're doing, or just your channel or something like that, or event that you're presiding over?
Yeah. Just look forward to seeing the House of Consciousness come back this summer. I'm getting ready to put together. I don't have the date yet, but you will get the date. Simple will let y'all know, because you're going to see it. Where we doing a family reunion where I'm bringing everybody together, the Moors, the Hebrews, it don't matter. Y'all know that's how I get down, and no matter how many times I beat up the Hebrews, those are still my brothers. I do it all for sport and not for play, but to educate the minds of our people. But it's like a sport to me at the same time. Peace and black power to you, Sinful.
Love. Blessings. Yeah, man. Hold on for a minute. Let me see if I can give me a second.
Really?
Yes.
No customer stuff.
Brother Ben, are you available right now?
Who's this?
This is Sinful. I'm calling you on the 702 instead of the 773. I'm actually live right now, and I'm speaking on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Brother Malcolm right now. And if you're available, I would love
I'm sorry,
for you to
who is
speak. This is Sinful to P. Sinful.
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm calling you right now because I want to get your opinion. Handle that. Blessings. All right.
Yes, sir. All right.
Hold on. Somebody said, seeing you on call, Brother Pharaoh. I don't know Pharaoh's number. Me and Pharaoh never chopped it up like that. I don't have any hatred for Brother Pharaoh at all, though. I like the way Pharaoh went from here to there. I like what Pharaoh doing now. I like how Pharaoh is being a father to his children. I like that Pharaoh then bossed up. I do like that. So shout out to Pharaoh. Yeah, that was Ben X, but I was trying to get Ben to speak on the matter, but right now he's presiding over a business matter. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello.
Yes, brother.
What's going on?
Oh, not too much. This your brother again.
Oh.
This brother Elijah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
The conversation earlier reminded me of something my spiritual teacher again was in ministerial class with Malcolm X, Minister Farrakhan, Muhammad Ali, under the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He sat at his dinner table on many occasions. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad even whispered in his ear and sent him many letters that I read. And he passed about 10 years ago. And before he passed, what a lot of people were saying reminded me, brought back some words that he gave me before he passed. And he told me, a lot of the people that love Malcolm, claim to love Malcolm, claim to love him because Malcolm is too easy. Malcolm is not here to put a demand on those people. Malcolm is not here to ask you to sell 100 papers. Malcolm is not here to ask you to help him build a house. Malcolm is not here to ask you for any donations. So for too many people, it's way too easy to claim the love for Malcolm when he is not here to ask you to do something for the cause. But like you and the brother pointed out, Malcolm messed up. That's the truth of the matter. And who said it best, who characterized his mess up in his mess, Malcolm got caught in violation. Malcolm violated the spiritual law of not biting the hand that feeds you. You don't go against.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. No, I was going to say, well, people, you have a pretty young audience that didn't understand the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah,
and
a lot of them don't, and I could just tell by the statements that's being made. You got little kids speaking on a man that you're not even worthy to tie his shoes. Like, stop it.
Right.
You know, and it's like I said, the internet made it very easy for a lot of people who pretty much are nobodies in real life to speak on individuals who have created something that people are still reaping the benefits of today. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's death, even right now in the grave, he's doing more for the black man than many of you are doing while you're even living.
Right.
While you sitting over there on your day to day, you know what I mean? He in the grave, you know what I mean, doing more for blacks than you are, you know what I mean? You got the activity of your limbs. You wake up, You know what I mean? You still here living, and you still haven't created anything to benefit your people. Here's somebody
Right.
who created a movement that gave birth again to some of the coldest minds that we have ever seen. Many of you, when you heard,
Right.
they was like, oh man, that's brother Ben X, that's brother Ben X. And one guy, he even said that he don't even know you. Well, okay, brother. I mean, amen. You know, I don't get into all of the man worship. You right, he don't know me. But even with brother Ben X and RZA, and another brother that I've taken a liking to, that's a cool brother. I've only had one conversation. I can't think of his name, but all of these people are offsprings from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
They're students. They're students.
All of them are offsprings. You know?
Yes, sir.
They don't. All of them. Hold on. Let me just squeeze this in.
Go ahead. Yes, sir, bro.
If it had
Yes, sir.
not been for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you wouldn't even have a brother RZA. You wouldn't have a brother Ben X. All of this stuff, you'd be like, ooh, he speaks so profoundly. Or, oh, he's so disciplined. Or, oh, this one is so sharp. Or, oh man, this guy's 50-something years old and he look like he in his 20s. That is the benefits of the teachings of of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When you see people putting all the meals of destruction in their body, that's because of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You just got to give honor when honor is due. I don't know why you guys got a problem of doing that. But brother, let me go ahead. You squeeze one more thing, and I'm gonna try to get at least one or two more calls in if I can. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. See, you have to know the difference. See, we all come from the public food system. The public school system, where this devil has tricked us. And you have to, brothers and sisters, you have to learn the difference between history and his story. You have to learn the difference between history and his story. And that's what you so beautifully pointed out to these ignorant brothers calling up here, because you can hear, you have an enlightened mind that can hear that they're getting their information from a Spike Lee movie.
Right.
And they're not. See, 1 Thessalonians 5:21 teaches us to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad he sat down, he wasn't a nigger off the street. The Nation of Islam was raised up by God. In Genesis 15:13, it says, "Know for a surety, Abraham, your seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, America. They will serve them and afflict them 400 years, slavery, after which I will come." God came and met with Elijah Muhammad in 1931 and taught him for 3.5 years and gave us the knowledge, gave Elijah Muhammad what Elijah Muhammad gave us, which is called the knowledge of self. That you're the Asiatic black man, maker on the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe, and the father of civilization. And Psalms 82:6 will prove that to you if you look at it in your Bible. And see, Elijah Muhammad, to prove that Jesus Christ isn't the name of a man. It's the title of an office. Jesus means justice. Christ means crusher of the wicked. The one who brings justice to the people by crushing the wicked, that's the Jesus Christ. Jesus of 2,000 years ago, his name was Emmanuel, meaning God with us. The word Elijah means God with us.
Well, hold on. And see, that's why I said that you and I need to speak on another topic, because I invite all of you that have this doctrine. And remember, I am just what people just consider to be a nigga. I'm not this Jesus.
But the nigga, go ahead. I like what you said, nigga. Nigga is misspelled. It's really niggod.
No.
You a nigga. Nigga is God's chosen people.
I understand.
And that's what we're going to come to realize. Yes, sir.
I understand. Listen, I done heard all the riddles, rhymes, and I'm pretty much one of the coldest of all times, you know what I mean, with that. But what I will say to you is, one of these days we will debate, and you can bring your information.
Praise God.
Brother. And I don't.
You got my number. You keep my number. And you use it.
I don't subscribe to that, but at the same time, like I said, I respect some of the teachings. Certain things I know not to be accurate, because we'll deal with the letter J, and we'll go into the name Jesus and even the name Emmanuel, and I will give you understanding on why. Like if you notice, even when people listen to me pray, and it's matter of fact, let me not go into that, because I know it's a lot of people that are impressionable minds, so I don't want to do that to them. But thank you, man, for calling in. I'm gonna try to get some more calls in.
Hey, you keep my number and give me a call.
Blessings. Blessings.
Peace and blessings.
All right. Let me see. I get it. Hold on. Okay. I was trying to call that brother, but okay, go ahead. Hello?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Super Square.
Oh, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, bro.
All right. Sorry about that. So I'll do a quick little recap.
Mm-hmm.
When Elijah Muhammad told Malcolm to not speak on the president, and then Malcolm did it anyway, he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I said, mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Brother, I was agreeing with that. Go ahead, keep speaking.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he was wrong. Then moving forward, I'm going to give you a different perspective, because overall, Malcolm was wrong. He wasn't strategic. If you're going to go against the nation, you at least have to be independent. He basically went against the nation, and he isolated himself. Now, what I would offer differently is, one, let me get this out the way before I get to my point. Elijah Muhammad's the most underrated black figure in black history. Elijah Muhammad did not check his family jealousy of Malcolm. And I think that was allowed to create the environment for people to get into their feelings and to make accusations. Now, there are speeches where Malcolm claimed that the girls were underage, because I think that's the main trigger. The main trigger is not the amount of girls or that he had multiple women. I think the issue was they were underage, according to some of Malcolm's interviews. I thought about this topic a lot because I like Malcolm. And I think the reason why people do like Malcolm is because he represents kind of a rags to riches type story, where he came from nothing, made himself into something. And then because he passed away, we weren't able to see the full completion of his story. So it's more of an individual thing why I think people like Malcolm. But overall, to your question, he was definitely in the wrong. He was in his feelings. And, you know, there was consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
And,
definitely,
you know,
consequences. It's consequences for being disrespectful to the one who gave birth to you. You know.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I will say this part, though. The jealousy, I do think Elijah, maybe at his age, he couldn't really nip that in the bud, or maybe he couldn't articulate or maneuver that situation, because Malcolm was the natural leader of the nation. It was undeniable. That's why.
You said he was the natural leader?
No. Predecessor. I think he would be the person to carry, to pass the torch to.
Oh, you're saying if that had never happened after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had passed, that Malcolm would be in the stead that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is in currently right now?
What I'm trying to say is I think Elijah Muhammad could have managed the situation with Malcolm a little bit better.
Okay, how so?
There was a lot of it's almost like if you and I are owners of a team and we have this pride, was, you know, articulate, great speaker, we know all that stuff, right? And those are the weaknesses that Elijah Muhammad didn't have from a verbal point of view to spread the message. Now, granted, he created the foundation, but once it gets to a point where you're at older age, who's going to carry it on after Elijah Muhammad? And at that point, Malcolm should have been the main person. Brother,
you just repeated what I just, Lord God. Okay, I hear what you're saying. Let me wrap it up for you. Okay. This is what it is. When your spiritual father tells you something, he's not going to tell you anything that's going to harm you. A true spiritual father cares about his spiritual son. Some fool said in the comment section that, oh, it's his spiritual father, it's not by blood. Only somebody that's ignorant of scripture or not involved in spirituality would actually say something so dumb. When somebody has brought you to your creator and they was the mediator of between you and your creator, they was the vessel that was used to help you get to the creator, that's an honor. You know what I mean? It's just an honor that you never disrespect. This is the person that witnessed to me. This is the person that I was in the mud. I was in a quicksand, and they took their hand and grabbed me. I was getting ready to die. I was going to a destination called Going Nowhere Fast. And this individual reached for me, you know, and was my natural and spiritual. Even though we say spiritual, but that brother is very correct. Malcolm looked at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad really as his father. A person is a fool by saying blood. You got people that blood related to you and they not family. Why would you say something so dumb? But anyway, you have to acknowledge the fact that this man gave you the doctrine, gave you the teachings, and enabled you to be who you are. And if he tells you, do not speak on the president, for you're going to bring pressure on Muslim brothers and Muslim sisters, you have to trust that his wisdom, you know what I mean, is the best. I got to trust the fact that you know what you're talking about. So even though I would like to talk and speak on this, but because you gave me instructions to not do so, you know what I mean, I won't. And plus, you have to understand that with Malcolm, that he was still your spiritual father, that I'm still being honored. Because if you disobey me, you're not honoring me. Have you allowed hold on, stop. Have you allowed the popularity to go to your head? Have you allowed, you know, your face being in the newspapers and, you know, because you're getting clouded up? Have you allowed that to go to your head? Have you forgot, you know what I mean, who birthed you in this? And evidently the brother must have did, because like I said, he was given instructions not to do something. And people keep walking over that. Like there's nothing justifiable that you're going to say to me, you know what I mean, that justifies rebellion, that justifies disobedience. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave instructions and it should have been obeyed. Period, point blank. Should have been obeyed.
I understand that point.
So it's no, oh, we should have came together to protect our franchise player. Brother, you have to understand that when you're the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I remember Jay-Z saying, I heard somebody say they made Hov. Made Hov say, okay, make another Hov. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has proven to you that he can do exactly that. Now, of course, I wouldn't say he produced another Malcolm, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not like most of the leaders in Christianity or in a Baptist church. I done seen so many churches where the pastor, he was a cool leader. He was a good leader. But because he didn't prepare any elders, any ministers within the congregation to preside over the congregation once he died, everything fell apart. Everything went to the grave, even with him, because he made no preparation for anybody else. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad died, you see the Nation of Islam for a minute, you know what I mean, it was separated. For a minute, it went downhill. But because he had equipped the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, man, that's what brought, you know what I mean, restoration, you know what I mean, to the nation. And that's why the nation is still in existence today. You know, like I said, when you, after the Minister Louis Farrakhan dies, they'll have somebody else presiding over the nation. It's going to keep going and keep going. What other congregation or nation do you have?
Yeah.
What clique
of the church, but
what clique or what organization within your religion has produced great minds such as the nation? I will wait. I will wait.
I mean, some would say the Christian church just kind of fell off a little bit. So,
you know, within the Christian church, Baptist church, because I know we got Christians in here, Baptist folks in here. And so my question to you is, what clique, what organization, what, you know, system was created within your denomination that produced great minds such as the Nation of Islam? Where's your discipline? Where's your structure? What has it produced? And gotcha. I just got to keep it all the way 100. You know what I mean? It ain't looking too good. But did you want to say anything else, brother, after I let you go? Before I let you go?
No, that was it. It was a great question. That's it. It was a great question.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I don't know where you guys, man, sound crazy. This man said MLK. Okay, who took over? Who took over after MLK? Who took over after MLK? Who? Let me hear that. Who is the man? I thought what what infinite minds came after Dr. Martin Luther King? Jesse Jackson. I'm gonna be quiet, man. I'm gonna be quiet. Let me see if we get one more call. Yeah, I'll take one more call. You know, G. Patterson, man, you wouldn't even want me to get started on the Church of God in Christ. Because truth be told, after Bishop Mason, Church of God in Christ went downhill. Don't even bring up Church of God in Christ. Went totally downhill. Bishop Mason told y'all was going to backslid, and y'all fulfilled everything that he said. Come on. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on, Central? This is George Megan.
What's going on, George? What's happening?
What's going on, man? Hey, you know, growing up here in Philly, you know, we had Mosque number 12 here. So, you know, the church was strong, but what the church didn't have, you know, in cities like Philadelphia and New York and D.C., they didn't have the streets. The Muslims, especially here in Philly, in the streets, as a young black man, if you wasn't Muslim, you was in trouble for the most part. Mm-hmm. You know, like the squares went to church. The street guys, they was all in the mosques. You know, whether they was Orthodox Muslims or they was down in Mosque number 12. And, you know, a lot of the cult figure into the 80s. You know, people still was following Elijah Muhammad in the 70s. You know, throughout the 70s, Malcolm X became big as time went on. But during his time, he wasn't as big as people think he is. People knew who Elijah Muhammad was, and the government feared Elijah Muhammad because Elijah Muhammad had the ability to move the Black Power people. The Black Power people, the people that was in the street that would go regularly and make things happen, they all came out of the first resurrection. They loved Elijah Muhammad as opposed to the church that was just, you know, would have sit-ins or sit down. No, these dudes will bust you on your damn head. See, I think a lot of people don't know. You know, you got Elijah Muhammad that may speak, but then you got the military behind the scenes. That, you know, when you got these coons and sellouts that's gonna put in work on your ass, especially here in Philadelphia. You know, out of Maz number 12. So he was Malcolm X to me. I tell all young people, a lot of y'all like to talk this gang stuff. If you got a gang and you got rank and somebody break rank and go against what the the leadership say, that's your life. So y'all already know it. Like if you, I can't really hear that because it's breaking up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear. What you say, bro?
Okay, well I'm gonna say this to you. Now I agree with some of the things you said in the end, but as far as them not knowing who Brother Malcolm was and all of that, that's false.
I'm not saying that they didn't know who he was. What I was trying to say was how he's a cult figure now. He wasn't as big as back then as he is now. It was about, people knew it was Elijah Muhammad in Harlem and places, but a lot of people, especially here in Philly, they still followed Elijah. He got bigger in depth. Is what I'm saying. Well,
let me say this. Every leader, you know what I mean, especially like somebody like Malcolm. Hold on for a minute. Stop calling right now. I'm on the phone. Call me after the phone call. You keep calling. Wait till after I'm done with this call. Lord God. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I will say to you, George, is that you know, it was expected for him to grow in popularity and, you know, be a cult figure after he died. I mean, that's like somebody saying Tupac wasn't as big as he is now until after he died. It's like, duh. But what I will say is, brother, and I will say this in Malcolm's defense, the nation was what it was, and it is what it is, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, gave the teachings, enabled Brother Malcolm to do what he did. We can't take away from what he did, because even as Farrakhan, because the Minister Lewis, you know, when Farrakhan first heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know what I mean, he was blown away, but he didn't become a Muslim.
Right.
He did not become a Muslim until after hearing Minister Malcolm X speak. It was Malcolm that compelled him to get into the nation. So, you know,
I'm with that part.
Hold on. So I'm just saying we have to be respectable. I mean, we have to respect everybody's dynamic, impeccable contribution to the Nation of Islam. And the minister even said that. That's not my words. That's the words out of Farrakhan's own mouth. So,
I've seen it when he said it.
Yeah. So, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to minimize the greatness of someone just to make a point. My point was just to show the people that emotionally reacting in a circumstance like that can cost you your life. This is another circumstance where we seen somebody emotionally react. As great as he was, he emotionally reacted, and the consequence was his life. His children grew up without their father.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, you keep going out.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I haven't moved.
Okay. Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. See, I agree with what you're saying, but see, you got to remember, Sinful, you have wisdom. Well, a lot of the youth, not old, are not experienced enough to have wisdom. See, when I'm making a statement about Malcolm becoming a cult figure after death, I'm not taking away or denigrating him and saying that he wasn't great, because he was one of the greatest orators we ever had. He was intelligent. But what I want people to understand that Malcolm before Malcolm, there was a nation. They had already had steak and takes. They already had $100 million system going on. You know, Malcolm was brought into a system that was already set in place by Elijah Muhammad. And when Elijah Muhammad spoke, and he had other ministers that spoke, they had thousands of Muslims all over the country. You know, and Malcolm came into that. So I want people to understand that Malcolm didn't make the Nation of Islam. Malcolm was made by the Nation of Islam. And I think a lot of young people that don't have the wisdom that you have, brother, respect for Malcolm, but they don't respect Elijah Muhammad because they don't know much about him. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying.
And I agree with your statement when you said that the nation made Malcolm, you know what I mean? But I will say that the nation was what it was, is what it is, because of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the best student that he had at that time was Brother Malcolm X. And a lot of things
I agree.
And a lot of things came in existence because of the discipline and the desire to fulfill the will of Allah and to also please his spiritual father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm used his ability to the best of his ability and made it a responsibility to be the best representation of the Nation of Islam, you know, that there was. Now,
yeah, and I agree. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, because I'm running out of time. Now I'm over 3 hours, but go ahead.
Okay, and I agree, but I just want young people out there that don't have wisdom, that's not well read up on this. Don't think that Malcolm made the nation. Malcolm was great, and Malcolm was a great son and a great student, and we love Malcolm for that. But understand who Elijah Muhammad was. That there's no duplication of Elijah Muhammad. Even when you go back to the time of Dr. Albert Cleveland out of Detroit, that had the pro-black churches and all that kind of stuff. All of those was following off of the teachings of Elijah and what Elijah did. And when Elijah had the heart to call the white man the devil and come out here and teach him. So before he brought his son on, he created the platform. So just, you know, put some respect on Elijah Muhammad's name. And when you think of Malcolm X, think of Elijah Muhammad. That's all I'm saying.
Brother, listen, even though we don't agree, and let me respond to Filmo saying that this nigga sounds smart to a dumb nigga. You just have to understand that George, first of all, you know, is not an idiot, you know, and I would have gave you a chance to speak to George Filmo if you wanted to call in, and y'all could have went back and forth saying that, you know, the brother's, but the brother's not slow by a long shot. I just disagree because it's almost like, for example, I think it was Malone, Glasses Malone. He was saying that, you know, Snoop, you know, was bigger than Pop at one time, and I agree. When Doggy Style came out, Snoop was the man. He was
the biggest on the planet.
But later on, when Pac got in all of them films and had all of when Me Against the World and Pac was on the face of every magazine, it was like, yeah, I feel you during the time of Doggy Style, but no. Later on, after certain classics was dropped, movies was done, no, you was not bigger than Pac. You know, but that was during the time of Doggy Style. See, like I said that to say this, we got to keep the proper times together. You know, and when it comes to certain times, you know, even before Malcolm had died, Malcolm was big.
Yeah, he was the man. But let me say this before I go.
Go ahead.
Because, you know, to the brother, I was raised by my father. My had families come up in the first resurrection of the Nation of Islam. I also have families in the uncle that's still locked up from the Black Liberation Army. You know, so, you know, I'm from Philly. Black nationalist family. I get it. I will only say this, and I'll go. My father said, because it's funny we having this conversation, because I had this conversation with my dad about this, because I asked my father how come he never told me about Dr. King's mother being killed in the church in '74, and he told me, he said, with all the stuff you study, I thought you knew. So it ended up morphing into the conversation about Elijah and Malcolm. And I'm pro Malcolm. I'm on Malcolm. I love Malcolm. Going in, and my father said something to me, Sinful. My father said, Malcolm is the son, and you always want your son to do better than you as you raise him up. But Malcolm didn't live long enough for us to see if he can create and maintain what Elijah created. That's the difference. That's all I'm saying. He was the great speaker. He was able to bring people together. We loved him. But what Elijah was able to maintain and sustain in a climate that was anti-black anything was beyond remarkable. That's why we love Elijah so much. And under Elijah came all these great men. We wasn't able to see that from Malcolm. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I appreciate you, George, man, for calling in. And whenever we have this discussion again, you're going to definitely have to call in again. But what I will say to you is this. I feel you on that hand, but on the other hand, you know, man, like I said, man, we could go on and on and on.
And we supposed to, though, because that's how we get sharper, though. Because you may tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, but to pretty much to the people, it's inevitable that Malcolm would have been able to do what people consider to be the impossible. He just didn't have the time to do it because it was many that had, you know, the spirit of jealousy and other things like that. We must also remember that there were people within the nation that did not want Malcolm to even come back to the nation, because they knew that if Malcolm had came back to the nation, that they was going to end up taking a back seat. And let's just
Absolutely. That's why my dad for a long time didn't like Farrakhan, and I used to always wonder why. And my dad didn't like Farrakhan, but my uncle loved Farrakhan. So even with the elders, if you get elders on here, it's still a split. You'll find the elders even going back and forth as to whose side they took. They don't even fully agree. The disagreements that we even have and the elders have, some don't like Malcolm X. Some is more like, you should see, well, I ain't got to tell you because you're from Chicago and you know, so I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me go, bro. But that's what it is. So it's not just our disagreement; it's the elders too. But I'm gonna hang up.
When we have our discussion again, make sure you call in. Love.
Okay. Love.
All right. Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this discussion. This definitely won't be our last time discussing it, because I think that it was people that wanted to get in and didn't have the opportunity to get in. So if you make known, if after I end this video, if you say, Sin, run this back, almost like us playing on the basketball court, and you want to run it again, make sure you get in the comment section after I end this video and say run it again. You know what I mean? So we can bring it again and you have the opportunity and liberty. As you see, when I allowed the callers to call in, I wasn't rushing them off the phone or any of that. I was allowing everybody to convey their opinion, whether I agreed or not. So I wasn't trying to, give them 2 seconds. I allowed everybody to, get their time in. So if you one of them individuals that didn't get a chance to speak your mind, on the subject, then just, let me know after this video is over. Just jump in the comment section and just say running back, and definitely, convey your opinions, in the comment section as well. I love you guys. I hope you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. Make sure you hit the like button. I understand that I wasn't talking about pimping today. I understand that I wasn't talking about pimping and hoeing today. I understand that I wasn't talking about the game today, but it was still some game that was dropped and given. So please don't play these topics like this. You know what I mean? Don't have on my pimp videos or street videos, you'll give me 1,000 or thousands of views, likes, but on this, you just play this to the side. You know what I mean? By all means, man, hit the like button. By all means,